gentlemen, welcome to the 444th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. And you know what that means? We're about to have a damn good time. I am the gift shop employee, aka the gift shop employee, Travis now. And you only know I'm talking about if I'm live, if you're watching live.
I was wondering what you're going for there.
and I'm joined by
the should have stayed silent Kirklin Patzer.
I don't get these nicknames at all. I'm the ho Taylor Fields.
I feel like I wouldn't have known your nickname if you didn't already have it once before. Because I don't think I've ever actually seen that Santa Claus movie.
You've never seen the Santa Claus?
No, legit never seen it.
He's never seen any Christmas movies. He's never seen freaking the Arnold one,
Christmas.
this one.
Next year, because we're going to talk about it in the news later on. There's probably a series coming out next December. If we have time, patrons, you want us to retrospect those 3 Santa Claus movie. Us 3 have Kirklin break his Santa Claus cherry. So absolutely, we got to do that. So I know what yours is. At first I didn't Kirklin, but then I'm like, okay, great name. And then I don't know what Taylor's is. Do you know what mine is, Kirklin?
The gift shop employee.
Mm-hmm.
No.
We're going to talk about it because there's some big stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, we got a massive episode here today. We're talking about our first Moon Knight trailer. We got the first look at Batgirl. Robin might already be cast. We got rumors of who Mr. Fantastic maybe. We got literally scoopers of the same tiers saying that there's, this person's been cast. No, they haven't been cast. So it's very fun. We got Joss Whedon has made some comments about Justice League. We'll talk about that. And then we got some shows in the works. Santa Claus, Bo-Katan, lots of good things. We have tons of content. We dropped 2 reviews yesterday, Peacemaker and Scream. We got Boba Fett in a few days. We got Peacemaker in a few days. Another newscast. The MCU Golden Geeks are coming up. The 2021 Golden Geeks are coming up. It's just a plethora of content. Taylor, when we produce this content, when we put it on the world, where can they find it?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter, and GeekVerse on our Facebook. Be sure to check us out on our Facebook because there will be another fan-based community poll popping off on there. But until then, you can find a whole variety of things on our Patreon.
Atreyo, I'm telling you, just give it, give me until we get to the segment. I'll tell you why. It might be a meme, but still, Moon Knight's no white Batman. He may look like a white Batman, but there's a lot more under there. But
Batman's already white.
What? Yeah, he's always white Batman. There's only a few times, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we got a big newscast. So head down to the description below, and you can find a bunch of things where we find our podcast feeds, our video feeds, our audio feeds, the podcast network, all our 4 separate feeds, review feed, news feed. Head over to Patreon to support us there, because the more you support us, the more content you create, like a potential Santa Claus view. And then someone's gonna message me, that's not what I want, but you know what? We look out for you guys. That's how you did the Matrix retrospective. That's how you guys did the Harry Potter retrospective. So lots of good stuff coming up. The date has changed just a day early. Goodness is coming a day early because February 21st, this Friday, is after 9. If you're on Patreon, the phase 2 tier or higher, you get to join it and talk. And I'm very excited to see what we'll be talking about this week, because we got so much stuff we got to catch up, but there's still so much news. I'm excited to see what everyone's been up to. So go check that out. Come watch or listen if you're not joining, but if not, you should join. It's always a fun time. So go over to Patreon, do that. I think that's everything. Manscaped, GV Pod, get 20% off and free shipping. You want to do that because it's good stuff. It's I was unprepared as I saw another message about white Batman, but you want to be getting ready. We're getting closer and closer. The snow's starting to melt. That sun's gonna peek out, and before you know it, it's gonna be summer. And you don't want a fucking overgrown bush. You don't want, you remember Scary Movie, guys? You don't want to have what happened going on there. You want to be prepared, and you don't want to let it get too long. So keep it up with Manscaped right now. GV Pod 20% off, free shipping. Do it right now. I just I had to shave my glorious face and the neck, not with the 4.0. Don't worry, that's for the down below. But the plow, as I say, recommend. Go check that out. Law things. This isn't an ad read. It's just us boosting because it's a good product. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So there's 2 things I want to say. So because Taylor is we're killing time for Taylor. Only the video listeners know why. But 2 things. One, so I meant to mention this in the Peacemaker review, but I wanted to ask if this was true. Taylor brought this to my attention last night while we were sitting waiting for Kirklin. We were sitting and look at Taylor's face.
I know where you're going.
We were sitting and waiting for Kirklin. It was me and Taylor sitting here, and then Kirklin's camera's on, his mic is on. And I want to hear.
I saw you bastards giggling. I never asked what you were giggling for. Okay.
You know what? Actually, that's a tease. I'm going to bring this up on After 9 because I want everyone's opinion. I think that's a good call, right, Taylor? Like, everyone's opinions on like if that's the right call. So there's something really juicy we got to ask Kirklin.
Oh
And
no.
oh yeah, something
I'm
really
nervous.
good. So stay tuned into After 9 this Friday, 6 p.m. PST. It'll be on the video feeds and all feeds there. But yeah, that's a good tease. I will write that down to bring it up because that's great. I can't wait to get everybody's.
What did I do? Was I walk around just ass naked in front of the camera?
No, it was just something you said, which we were like, oh, that caught me off guard. Nothing. You're not gonna cancel. No, it's no Joss Whedon interview or anything.
I was gonna say,
man, that Ray Fisher's a bad actor. Hey, Shay. But no, the other thing I was gonna bring up, Kirklin. Oh my God, Taylor, put that plate down, you fucking
savage. That is savage.
Oh,
gosh.
Jesus Christ.
Primal instincts are kicking in there. Covers the mic or camera.
What I gotta bring up this joke or before we went on air was Kirklin was telling me, the F1 starting, and I'm like, man, I can't wait for the F2. And he's like, yeah, F2's coming up. Like, I have no fucking clue. He's talking about because Kirklin is trying his best to pretend he's been a racing fan his entire life.
Hey.
He mentioned it one time we had the podcast, and he randomly sounded like he made an excuse, like, oh, I got the early morning races to watch. I don't know if I could review decks or me too. Like, what the fuck? We've never heard you mention anything about car racing, liking this sort of thing, and now it's just like he's adopted, like, oh, I love racing. It's my favorite thing. You know, I'm going to be a driver one day.
I've never once said that. I've even admitted on cast that it was all to do with the Netflix show Drive to Survive. They have the Formula One series.
When have you admitted that?
You never asked me. I'm a private guy. I can have my own secrets. Okay?
That's not admitting it. You admitted it in your own brain. What's going on here, Mark Spector? My God.
I think the first time you asked me, I mentioned that. Of course, it's not on air, so I can't pull it up to prove.
It's just suspicious if we're planning a podcast and then out of the blue you whip out like, yeah, I got the races to go to. It's like me
every Sunday. It's the race. So
it's like
it just
Travis
to be on a Sunday.
Travis and you planning a podcast with me, and I'm like, sorry, I can't make it. I have to watch the archery championships. Like, what?
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't have to know everything about you guys.
Yeah, I gotta watch the porn awards. Oh wait, that would probably track with me. But anyways, I found that Spider-Man video.
February 17th, right? Porn awards.
Porn awards. I can't wait. We're gonna do a whole predictions episode. We're gonna.
Golden Geeks.
Oh God! I would love to one time. The boys are looking good.
We could probably do porn memes at least.
Manny, the boys are looking good. Minus Taylor smashing his meal.
I thought I was below the camera actually when I was scoffing it.
It rose.
Garrett, one of our patrons. If you're watching, I'll answer you after on Twitter. But I only give my letterbox to specific people. I don't promote it. I don't know why. I just don't want to. But yes, thank you, Maddie. I got fresh new locks. Look at this. I've been talking about it for months. If people saw me post on Twitter, I haven't posted a picture yet, but inspired by Kylo Ren, Kyle Rayner, Bruce Wayne, and Dick Grayson. So I got the nice black hair going right now. Boom, yeah. Kirklin always looks good.
Oh, look at that. As you're showing off your hair.
Whatever, Trejo, you know. Let's never forget the very first Thirster YouTube comment person was about me. So you know what? I'm going to take that to heart. But now because I got kids, I'm engaged, I'm not approachable anymore. That because Taylor's married, I got kids. That means the fans think they can break Kirklin up from his relationship with Shay and get him. That's what it means. No comment. Anyway, so let's talk about Moon Knight. Kirklin Pats before you boot up, because we're going to do that, we'll watch along a little bit. But this has been something we've been obviously very excited for. This is a show that was announced a few years ago, and it's one of those that we're all excited because we're fans of Moon Knight to like varying degrees. But it's just like, man, they're actually making a Moon Knight show. Even though they just got Fantastic Four, they got X-Men, all these Fox characters, we're getting Moon Knight. So we have the date. We got the poster. The date is March 30th. That is obviously the Wednesday. I think they're going to have to do 2 episodes because if you look at it, the finale would be on May the 4th, unless they're finally going to pull the trigger and do 2 separate, like a Star Wars and Marvel thing on the same day. But I really don't think they will. So I think we might get 2 episodes. But Taylor Field, what have you thought of just your initial thoughts of the trailer? And we'll do a deep dive. We're going to pull it up and stuff. But what do you think about this highly anticipated, the first MCU project of the year?
Oh man, I mean, this trailer was just absolutely like, it was exciting, it was invigorating, a little bit of like we got some visuals from the previous like footage that they put out. What was it, that other expo or whatever they did? They put out some stuff with Oscar Isaac.
Disney Plus Day.
That's the one, yeah. So again, not a lot, but just kind of stuff that we could kind of look forward to. And again, this was just the whole bloody thing, and it was just such a fantastic time. and it just has me super jazzed. Like, it's just got such a awesome aesthetic to it that's just gonna be having me on the edge of my seat. I want to get into the psychological like jazz of this thing, and it's just gonna be a full like trip, actual trip, and I can't wait to board that train and go on that trip.
Oh my goodness! I got to shout out. We got that original. We got the original leaked photo in HD. Yeah, we talked about that months ago, so it's cool. Whoever's working at Marvel, they got some good stuff. But I didn't even put this together. Ends the week of Doctor Strange. So again, I still think, not saying S-Bubs is wrong because he has his people. Go follow him on Twitter at S-Bubs. But like, and he has a profile of a fish.
He's already a scooper. Like this guy.
Yeah,
he's been on Twitter for like a week.
But I like that. He'll be like with us. You know, that's the thing that helps. He'll be our scooper when we get big time. But the thing is. If my prediction is that still we'll have 2 episodes at some point, even if it's the finale week, just because I feel like this show would be smart, like WandaVision, to have those first 2 episodes, because I could feel the first episode being a lot of setup and being very like trippy, the same way WandaVision, where not trippy where it's like what's going on, but just like, oh, this is a weird type of Marvel show. Like, this is not what I'm expecting, like for the general audience people. So I could see 2 dropping, but even then, let's say you get 2 drop, you get Moon Knight, and then the week after you get Obi-Wan, and then the next day, which is the Thursday, Friday, you get Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. So in a week span, we get the Moon Knight finale, Obi-Wan premiere, and Multiverse of Madness. Holy fuck, boys. That is going to be May. We're excited for March, but May, that first week, that's going to be popping off. That is, I can't wait. This is going to be a great, great year. So
it is going to be a great, great year. Yeah, it's possibly best year yet. Who knows? We'll
see. We had it last year. Trejo will definitely answer that after. Please no more best. We'll answer that after we talk about the overalls, because I want to pose that, because you pose a similar question to kind of what Fanboy Claim we've talked about before. So that's like Andrew's hand on the railing tier. 100%. They did, like, think about that when we got that picture of Andrew at the bars and it's real, you know? So Kirklin, what did you think of this first trailer?
Yeah. So, I mean, like Taylor mentioned, like that was it Investors Day? The Disney Plus Day?
I just said it.
Okay. Come on. I thought that was the same thing for some reason.
No.
Didn't the year before we had Investors
Day and Disney Plus Day. No Investors Day
not this year. Yeah, no. Okay. So that first teaser trailer, I think, was kind of everything I was hoping the show would be, like really tackling the psychological side, and this trailer was just longer and even just showing more of that and showing more of our protagonist and how much he almost feels like a victim of his own mind. Mm-hmm. And I think that plot right there is just so intriguing to me. Like, I think this show could just be, it could really be like Oscar Isaac versus himself, and I would just eat into this show. He's definitely gonna have something that he's fighting. Just, you know, it's a superhero show, but
maybe
everything I've seen about it, it gets me so excited. I think this type of plot of just, you know, just battling your own mind is just it's so freaky to me, of just like, you know, just like mental illness and like suffering from that, because like you're literally just, your whole world is just playing against you, you know, when you have that type of illness, and that just, it just hits deep with me. So just having the show and like shown like this, it's super dark, it's super creepy. Like Moon Knight himself just looks so terrifying, let alone like the Egyptian god that we see in this trailer. Mm-hmm. It's just, there's so many things that just gets me so excited. And yeah, no, I'm hoping for some pretty brutal violence too. We see him just beating on whatever that thing is in the bathroom.
Praise that. He's beating something. He's beating
he's beating hard in the bathroom.
He's beating some sort of creature-looking other person. Just when he said, "Oh, I don't know," he's beating hard in the bathroom. But
he's beating hard. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this. And yeah, just everything that's coming out around that time too. It's just, God, March is gonna be crazy, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm ready for it, but I better start getting ready. I got a month and a bit to really prep myself.
Yeah,
it's gonna be wild.
Uncharted road bump, and then we'll be right in the Batman.
Oh yeah, that's not out yet. Okay.
No. Yeah, being in the bathroom. You like that, Bush? But anyways, that's an inside joke. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I've talked about this before. I've loved Moon Knight ever since I plugged in a little game called Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I was like, hey, who the fuck is this dude? And that was like 2004, 2005. And then I dived deep into him, and I've loved the character ever since. But I've liked it more and more, especially because like my favorite run is the 2016 one. I shout this all the time, but this is for new people. The Jeff Lemire run. Go read it. It's on Marvel Unlimited. You two don't read it because we're gonna do it for comic book versions one day. But everybody else, because also like it's one of those where I don't know if it's going to spoil some things, but they're definitely pulling from it, because that's all when I was back on, well, this show and even Marvel Alliance, I'd always say, okay, there's always two types of Moon Knights, and which one are we going to get? And we already knew that we were getting the split personality one, but this is great where it is legitimately, the whole show is structured around this. It is a huge plot point. It looks like this great combination of like Split and Fight Club, and what I think is one of the greatest shows of all time is Hannibal. And if people have seen that show, and even if you haven't, what I'll explain is there's a main detective. He's a cop named Will Graham. He's from movies and whatnot, but there's many times where he can't trust himself and he's tripping out all the time, but he's a great detective. So it's just like back and forth of how do you cope with that. You have this guy who could help solve these murders, but the more he solves them, he breaks and breaks. What's going to be interesting with this trailer is like, what breaks this guy? Like, what is the deal with now Stephen Grant, which we're going to talk about, but it's very interesting. They're taking a different route. They're definitely changing some things from the comics, which I'm fine, because Moon Knight is a crazy type of character. At their core, if they keep this, okay, there's multiple personalities, then plus Moon Knight, great, I'm all there for it. And I love that. I think eventually we will get an answer of like, hey, all this stuff is real. But I like from the trailer and how they're going to market it is, okay, it is I'm just going to be so used to calling him Mark Spector. Is Stephen Grant, is he crazy? Has he lost and stuff like that? They could have easily led right away of he almost died and this god came down and said, you have powers and you're going to change the world and all this stuff, right? I like that they're going to, I think for most of the first season, really play up, does this guy, is this all in his head, which I like. I always like the version where you never get the answer, but if this guy's going to be eventually palling around with Strange and Blade and even the Avengers, you're going to have to answer and be like, yeah, this guy has superhuman powers and he can throw a crescent moon at you and stuff like that, which I'm fine with. So if the first season is all about playing up who is this guy and why is he the way he is, then I'm sold. And that's what it looks like it's doing it. Oscar Isaac, as I've said before, I always like to brag. He was my fan cast. I didn't think it was going to happen. A trailer point out Annihilation. That was one of those movies where it's like, oh yeah, this guy could do it. He is just a chameleon. He's one of the best in the world. So he's just going to kill it. And I like that we're not even seeing yet what he can pull off, because we're just seeing him as Stephen Grant in this trailer. And obviously Moon Knight, that's just a costume. You don't have to do much there. But once we start meeting the other personalities, that's going to be really fun. But even the stuff that when he's playing is fearful, it looks so natural. And Ethan Hawke, as much as he wants to complain about comic book stuff, he's in there. He's a great talent. So it's going to be interesting. And yeah, this is just kind of everything I wanted. Anytime I was worried about this show, this kind of goes against all fears, and I can't wait. March 30th cannot get here. I'm gonna go and watch the Batman every day, and then I'm gonna go watch this. So I want to bring this up to you because as Bub says, interesting how the trailer pretty much only showed Steve Morant. They would cut back to him being confused and not show the other side of what he was doing. I think that's smart, because I think the other side is what he's gonna, it's gonna sell the show in some really big set pieces. I think there's gonna be lots of times where at the beginning he will just wake up as Steve Grant and have no idea what he did. But I think they're kind of smart to hold some of that back. What do you guys think about only seeing Stephen Grant primarily in this trailer and just some flashes of Moon Knight and no other personalities? Because if people don't know, just when we run down, is he has some other personalities. There's two newer ones, the Inner Child, which is like a redheaded girl, and then he has Mr. Knight. But Mr. Knight's kind of like an evolved version of
suit.
Yes, he's
that's
very
badass.
well-spoken. he's like, in the last comment, he's like kind of starting a church and stuff. Like, he's very sophisticated Moon Knight, where Moon Knight is a fucking brute force. Like, you don't want to mess with this guy in a dark alley. Where Moon Knight might talk, or Mr. Knight might talk to you and be like, hey, let's try and solve this. But then if it goes wrong, he's gonna fuck you. Either way, you're always gonna get fucked up if you bump into this guy and you're doing something wrong. But there's kind of four. There's Moon Knight, okay, the vigilante. There's Mark Spector, who is like a former mercenary CIA guy. There's Jake Lockley, who is which I'm going to get into. It's interesting with this trailer. He's like a taxi driver, kind of, lower income guy. He's very scruffy, not really not good looking, but he just like doesn't take care of himself. And then there's Stephen Grant, who in the comic books is a billionaire who got most of that money from being a famous movie producer. He is not that in this trailer. No. He is Kirklin. He is a gift shop employee. That's my nickname. So, but what do you guys think about? Yeah, what do you guys think about them just showing so far the one personality so far?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said, saying like it's smart because they can save a lot of those set pieces for the show, and I think the intrigue of, as of right now, I don't really know what's happening. It's awesome because it's like it has that tone of what the show is, of kind of just, you don't really know what's going on, but also I'm not spoiled going into the show. There's going to be a crazy set piece with Moon Knight, and I haven't already seen that in the trailer. I'd say with these Disney Plus shows, they've been pretty good for the most part of like not really showing too much, but it's even better when you don't see anything. It's pretty much my preferred, and I mean just what they showed in this trailer is enough for me. I don't need to see anything more. It was. I know I'm gonna like it. I think unless I'm just utterly disappointed. But no, it's funny. He's a gift shop employee. I totally thought he was like a museum curator or something like that. But yeah.
What about you, Taylor? About just kind of showing the one side?
I am totally okay with it. I think that you know you can't show all your cards. You got to kind of keep things kind of to a minimum, especially with something like this. Everyone's going in even without the trailer, super high expectations and just built off full steam ahead, hype, everything. So then just to give us a little peek into what's going on is going to have people super, super ecstatic, even more so on top of what they were already feeling. And I'm sure we'll get another trailer, maybe two, but I could see at least just one for sure. And that's just going to probably show a little bit more Moon Knight. And that's going to be the nail in the coffin. People are going to be like super jazzed and they're going to go right into the show with it.
Yeah, we might, because if you think about though, most of these Disney Plus ones, we usually only get like one big full trailer and that's it. We get some more TV spots, but they don't show too much because they don't want to, I think, like spoil the show. But that's one thing I wanted to mention that Clay had brought this up, and I think where a trio I thought brought up something similar. He's talking about he could break up Kirklin and Shay. All these shows coming out, but when are we going to get anything that's actually WandaVision level good? No more Vespas, please. Silencio Bruno. Well,
might be this one. Might be this one.
To me, that's all like that's all subjective, right? For me, I love WandaVision, and I can agree that I think WandaVision had the biggest mainstream hype. But that's kind of one thing where I will say it did have the benefit of being the first big Marvel thing in the middle of the pandemic, right? We had so less content. And for me, subjectively, I think Loki is better than WandaVision. So I already had like 2 thumbs up there. Kirk and Pat's or GeekVerse podcast trying to shoot.
I rarely raise a finger. So you know I'm excited to talk about
There we go. I got Big Wumbo in
Big
the chat.
Wumbo.
I don't need you, Treo. I don't need you. Now where's the Taylor stands? You know?
Yeah, just the comparison to WandaVision. I remember even just, I think it was either the first or one of the trailers for WandaVision, I was just sold on like the 50s aspect of it. And then once I saw that first episode and it was just like really eerie, I was just sold on the show. You know, a lot of people weren't completely sold on the show until it got more, I don't know, back to Avengers
MCU,
type.
like,
yeah, exactly. But that really weird stuff, it was something I had never really seen before in the MCU. And it was creepy. I didn't really know how to fully feel about it. And it was just, yeah, it was scary, and I think that's why I love that show so much. It's honestly, that one's probably my favorite still, out of all the Disney Plus shows. And then seeing this trailer again, it just scratches that vibe of like, I think I'm gonna be scared watching this at midnight on the releases, honestly. And they're like watching WandaVision, that happened a few times. Like when Wanda, like something would just something would go weird. You know, like not 1950s, like help me, or save him, you know, like something really creepy like that. And all of a sudden I got goosebumps. I'm like, oh my God, 12:30 in the morning. I think I'm going to get that vibe again. And it's got me excited because that is not a normal MCU thing to have. And maybe now that we're getting closer to Blade, we're getting Moon Knight now, maybe that is going to be a more common thing, or maybe just not as abnormal because we just haven't had a lot of that, you know?
Well, I was going to say, like, even that set piece we talked about before, but in the elevator when the grandma was coming up. When Khonshu's seemingly coming after him, that is a full-on horror movie set piece right there. Like, it's staged that way. Where WandaVision, they said, kind of had that in the show, but in the trailers it looked like, oh, some might be off, but not like a horror type of off, right? This is up front showing in the trailers like, yeah, there's something crazy here, and you can't really think like there's not much in the MCU like that. There is this uncharted territory. There's moments of, you remember in Age of Ultron where, you know, Scarlet Witch like takes over their minds and they have all these visions of like scary stuff, but we've only got like little glimpses. So them to like lead this foot forward, be like, okay, this is, you know, we're leaning into a horror vibe aspect. And I think it's tough because I wanted to, before we look at one of the trailers, I wanted to bring up something Clay brought up in the GOA chat, which I think is a good point, that with WandaVision, I feel like this could have that potential of the same like theory crafting, the mystery, all the like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, even with talking about the personalities, you have 4 personalities. That's like tons of potential. But I do wonder, because this is the point he brought up, he said he feels it's going to be divisive because if there's those people, just like WandaVision, that were tuning in for the good time superhero stuff, if there's people tuning in for, oh, I want to see that guy in the white costume fuck some people up, you're gonna get that. But the thing is, like, how much are we gonna get of that in this show? And the fact of, like, we don't get much of Moon Knight in this trailer, which is fine. They could be saving lots of it. But what if it's like, what if he is in it very minimal? You know, what if it is kind of like a Halloween where Michael Myers is in the movie, but he spliced in throughout? It's more about the characters and, you know, Laurie Strode. And it is going to be interesting because I feel like there's it.
Yep.
It is going to be like a love-hate thing where I feel like tons of people are going to go to bat for and say it might be their favorite MCU thing, but then other people, maybe GA people, might not be into it. But I guess we'll have to see, because people are into WandaVision quite a bit.
Well, yeah. I just quickly, I'll ask you this question, Travis, before you go further on the subject of just how much do you love the suit from what it was like seen in this trailer? Are you like, I need to see this in every single episode, or you're like, you know, minimal amounts is okay with me? It's not my favorite version of the suit. Like, where do you sit right now with the costume?
So I'm fine with minimal amounts, but I absolutely love the suit. So
you
that's
absolutely
where
love it. Okay.
yeah, because, and that's a good thing. We talked about this, I think, when it leaked, is like, this guy's gonna have multiple suits with these shows and movies go on. He's always changing. Like, eventually he might get just the actual suited collared one and stuff like that, right? So I think I agree with S-Bubs. This is what I like about it. I feel like Taylor's gonna be the same. He looks like a mummy. He looks like he's wrapped.
Oh yeah.
What I like about it, he looks like
Emotep.
Yeah, he'd be Brendan Fraser. But I like that because that's the origins of the character, right? Is like dealing with Egyptians, gods, and magic and things like that. So I like that kind of horror aesthetic, that it looks beautiful, but it looks not all well put together in a sense of like a sleek Iron Man or Spider-Man costume. It looks ancient, and that's what I like about it. But again, most of the Moon Knights, like the 2016 run that I always shout that I love, him being actual Moon Knight is very minimal. Moon Knight's almost something that like is a black cloud over him, and he puts on the costume, but it's more about the adventure or the journey of Mark Spector dealing with all these personalities. So, and I feel like that's what this show's going to lean into. But again, I just don't know. Well, if they lean into it and do it really well, I think it can hit that big mainstream audience. But again, do people check out? They go, there's no superhero action here, you know?
Yeah, I honestly think we are gonna go that route. And also, I think we're gonna, double down on that theory, because Oscar Isaac is just such a phenomenal actor. I feel like they're gonna really want to have him not behind the mask a lot.
They got it for a reason.
Exactly.
They had to pay. I would figure they probably paid a lot more money for him than they could have other actors, or even other actors in the MCU, to be honest. Because Oscar Isaac is a building star. He just came from Star Wars, so I don't think he's a guy that's going to take like some big pay cut to be like, oh, I really want to be a Moon Knight. I think they went after him hard. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Taylor, I was going to ask you the same question. Do you love the suit? I feel like you do.
For me, the suit just preaches Egyptian Assassin's Creed, but it's not solidly Egyptian Assassin's Creed because I have Egyptian Assassin's Creed and it's different. it's like that. Can we have Egyptian Assassin's Creed, Mom? And the meme's like, no, you have Egyptian Assassin's Creed at home, and that's Assassin's Creed Origins, and I want the Moon Knight Assassin's Creed Egyptians. But I love it. Yeah, you're right. It looks like a mummy. It just looks awesome. I wanna. There's so many suits that I want to cosplay in the MCU, and this just snuck its way into the top 5 for me.
I feel like this was like made for you, your cosplay. You love Assassin's Creed, and then you love Marvel. This is, like you mentioned, it's just best of both worlds there.
This is definitely best of both worlds. Like, as far as it goes, like cosplay, like Doctor Strange is up there. I want to cosplay, and this one is definitely up there with Doctor Strange. Like, it's just such a cool costume. Like
Doctor S. Strange or Doctor Strange.
Oh, you have to wait and see.
Dr. S.
I love that name, the Taylor. Like,
Also,
that's just you, right? Like, you just came up with that? Yeah.
Doctor
Trademark
This
Taylor
son
Field.
of a bitch. Looking at the thumbnail, he had Moon Knight, the big poster, Batgirl. Okay, makes sense. But we have Mr. Fantastic News and a huge expose from Joss Whedon, and you have Santa Claus on there and Bo-Katan, which is the last story of the night. Those are the last stories of the night.
Make the thumbnail yourself, Travis, if you want down there.
They get 2 spots on the thumbnail, though.
I got your blessing. I'm like, Moon Knight is thumbnail, main image. And you're all excited. Holy shit.
Taylor in his brain.
When can we put Tim Allen as Santa Claus in there? Not very often.
Next year when we review the show.
Well, we got to build the hype.
We got to build that. You were the only ones building the hype. Okay, let's.
I'll quickly, or
No, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
very quickly, I'll say I absolutely love the suit as well. My only really experience with Moon Knight is like seeing the cover of the Moon Knight comic that my dad had. I found it in his basement. I'm like, I got to read this one day. Never did. And then just Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and yeah, no, he was just such a unique character. I just love the all white aesthetic and his weapons, but like the crescent moons and everything. And he's just, I think the fact that I don't know anything about him makes it so appealing. And then what I'm seeing in this trailer, it's like, oh, they're not telling me anything about him. I need to know more. So it's just, yeah, I'm getting giddy. Yeah, no, God, this trailer was amazing.
Well, yeah, and that's what we'll bring up some stuff, but I'm gonna not do full deep dives into stuff like movie because even the villain right now, Ethan Hawke, there's like some site confirmed who he is, but I don't know if there was a press release or something because this trailer does not confirm who he is, and there's been lots of theories who he might
West.
be. Whoa, yay is after
with his cult.
I want that
his
power.
cult leader. Making little biomes in his backyard, getting shut down by the city.
Yeah, I want to address some of these questions in the chat, but we'll do that after our first ad break. And we're back. So Big Wumbo says, honestly knowing Disney, I have a strong feeling they dive deeply into the dark side of Moon Knight. My opinion is mostly based on how they portrayed Kingpin and how they compared to Daredevil. Well, it's tough because I feel like I don't know if I agree with Big Wumbo because people might argue that with Fisk they didn't do that, right? Or maybe you're saying that Daredevil got the better comparison. I think for me, I have to wait and see how Daredevil is brought into it. But again, they get dark. I think it's just with Fisk, I don't know what happened with Fisk. I think Fisk was just a casualty of not enough time. You know, it was just, hey, let's throw this dude in here and here we go. So do you guys have any other worries as far as like, Oh, what's going on here in the pride chat? I have to shout that out. I literally rode my phone when the ad breaks for these motherfuckers. But do you guys feel that Disney I feel like this trailer is they're gonna deliver on the promise of something a bit darker, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't have any reason to really doubt that. I think of the other shows, like WandaVision got pretty freaking brutal.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't brains getting exploded in heads or anything like that, but like we saw supposedly the death of like children in there. Like that was pretty crazy.
Dead Vision.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, that shot right there, you gave me goosebumps just remembering that.
Yep.
Like there was some pretty dark things tackled, and you know, it's not like they're just doing it for gore's sake or anything like that. There wasn't really gore in the show. It was just like I would imagine if I had kids, I wouldn't just put that on for them to watch on their own. Like it's actually pretty it's actually pretty freaky at parts.
Fast forward to the scene of Moon Knight beating the shit out of the fucking Anubis.
Fuck yeah, Dad.
While he's masturbating. Double fisting it. Yeah.
Something in there.
And then Espobs also said, who will be the Mephisto of Moon Knight? I think 100% it's going to be Blade. Because I think every episode people are going to ask, is Blade going to show up? When's he going to show up? Stuff like that. Someone will mention vampires and they'll be like, oh, what was that motion?
Me? I didn't want to do a finger again, so I wanted to switch it up with my thumb. I got something to add.
He went to the thumb and then he did the finger on the other side. Like I wouldn't see it or something like that.
I don't know. I'm too
yeah,
giddy.
Go ahead. You go. And then I'll ask Taylor.
Well,
but yeah, who do you guys think could be the Mephisto? The person that everyone thinks, oh, are they going to show up? They're going to show up?
Maybe minor Eternal spoilers. That movie sucks anyways. But like, is Black Knight tied to Moon Knight at all? Because I feel like he would just fit in there for some reason. Maybe it's just like the polar opposites of like an all white suit and an all black suit.
I don't know, but the fact that Moon Knight's definitely tied to Blade means he can be tied to Moon Knight.
And yeah, Blade was recruiting someone supposedly or I guess not even supposedly anymore.
I think it's the other way around. That it might have been Blade recruiting somebody, but it's not. Director confirmed it, so
yeah.
Well, technically, you have Black Knight and Moon Knight taking place in the same part of the world, don't you?
Say that again. You
same part of the world.
Same part of the world.
They're both in London, are they not?
Okay, I guess. I didn't know if Moon Knight was in London. Where are you getting that from?
I saw someone posted it, and they
SGs.
also speak with British accents too in the trailer, don't they?
You're onto something. I think Kirklin was meaning more like a canon thing, not like they both live in London. But you know what, Taylor? You're absolutely right. They do both live in London.
Yeah.
They just bump into each other. Yeah. I just want Moon Knight to hunt him down the middle. He's teaching these kids, and fucking the fist of Khonshu just busts through a wall. I'm like, Dane Whitman,
Jesus.
I'm here for your soul.
It's over for you.
For you, kids. I hope you took history. Okay, so let's see. Kirk, pull up that trailer just in case there's anything we want to talk about. We'll go frame by frame. We covered a lot already, but still.
Taylor, did you have anything to add on anything we said? I wasn't sure if I shared the mic with you.
I mean, what was the last question you guys had?
Yeah, who could be the Mephisto? Who could be the guy that like everyone thinks is like might be in the series? Let's hear Taylor before he plays this.
Oh gosh, I mean that's a tough question because I don't fully know all the characters. I mean, maybe it could be the woman chewing the gum and like insulting him. Maybe that could be the Mephisto. I mean, really could be anybody in this
It
trailer.
was a long shot of her. I'm like, that's the main villain right there.
I was happy that was like the only. I was kind of happy that was the only joke we got and everything like that. So
yeah, I agree.
All right, hit play.
Shall we?
Let's see if there's anything we want to shout out here. So this is great. This is very Fight Club-ish as far as just like, oh yeah, I can't sleep. He has this program. He's doing the Rubik's Cube. I love this whole thing that he has a lock to his leg to the bed because he's worried about sleepwalking, but probably a lot more than just that. But he's looks like he's going through a rough time here, Stephen Grant, which I will bring up when we get to the middle part of the trailer.
Did you see? You must have, but right there, he like ran through sand. Like at the end of his bed, right there.
Oh, I did not.
It's like a ring of sand. I'm wondering if that's like, what's that?
This show's gonna fucking just slap so hard, man.
Well, I was wondering if that, they have like salt circles, so like the demons don't come get you. Like, does that play in the comics at all? Like Khonshu, is that the name? Am I saying that right?
Khonshu. Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly that, but Khonshu is like he is a very horror type supernatural spirit. He can be like he's your friend, but there's other times where Mark kind of goes against him and stuff like that. So I actually think
what's the book say? Soul?
Adventure of the Soul. I thought it was Into the Soul, but Adventure of the Soul.
Maybe he's just a big fan of Pixar's Soul.
Soul
yeah.
section there.
I think he probably just went to the beach. That's probably what it is. Nothing more.
That always happens. You go to the beach, you come home with sand.
Yeah, that's a lot of sand. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't see that the first time till just now, actually.
It's coarse and rough.
Do you like the song? I actually quite did.
I did. Yeah. Like, so I feel like pause it, but like I feel like this is
Oh, what a pause.
Tail hate me saying this, but I feel like it's a better version of the Assassin's Creed trailer because it feels like that, but they do use the pop song, but it's like an epic version of the pop song instead of just calling
it fits too, though, right?
Yes,
like day and night, like he's an Insomniac. Doesn't this look like Michael B. Jordan? I'm like, holy Killmonger confirmed.
Prequel, yeah.
It's
not Michael B. Jordan, people. Don't worry.
Not Michael B.
Yeah. So pause here. So
those are evil eyebrows.
Mephisto confirmed.
Kurt eyebrows.
They're all bushy.
She just says the Call of Duty ski mask on. Look, let's get Clancy Brown in the MCU. He's already Surtur, but no, don't hit play. Don't hit play. I see you hovering over that.
I'm ready.
Okay, so what I was going to mention, this was the first time that I was thrown for a huge, massive fucking whoop because I couldn't believe. So, as I've known him and most people, Mark Spector is usually our main character, and he's the one we follow. This gets established here and later on with Maryland that we are following Stephen Grant, which is very kind of interesting because he's one of the different personalities. I would say he's like 3 or 4, somewhere. He's definitely near the other spectrum, but I love that. Okay, he's a gift shop employee, but he's of course at like pyramid sort of ancient Egypt sort of time. So that's really fun, and it's gonna be like kind of like, oh, he took this job, almost like get called to him, right? And there might be something he needs to steal here. But it's very interesting, and they did say that in the synopsis, he's a gift shop owner. He's trying to get away from his past and sleeping by yada yada. So I'm this is where I'm not disappointed, but I'm more curious as far as Jake Lockley. He's the taxi driver. In the comics, when it started, he became that personality to get info on the streets. Now he's just a taxi driver sometimes and everything like that. But it's weird because that's, like I said, the lower income guy. So I'm surprised they didn't use Jake Lockley as this character, because Stephen Grant, this is a huge change of the character. Because unless we get some sort of pivot at some point where he writes a movie and becomes really famous or something like that, I'm surprised they didn't use the, the more poor character's backstory with Jake Lockley, who already is that. Where Stephen Grant, he is the Bruce Wayne billionaire, movie producer, has everything he wants. That kind of like secretly funds his Moon Knight operations because he's just like funneling money from this one personality, which we may get. But do you think there's any reason why? Do you think that's something we could get, or do you think that's maybe just like the whole billionaire persona movie producer? That's something they don't want to tackle. Maybe they don't even want to touch it because people already compared enough to Batman, which when it started, he was white Batman, but now he's so far from that. He's nothing like Batman. But maybe the billionaire thing they take out because we don't want to cover that because just too similar to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the main reason. I could be completely wrong there, but I think just having a character, in my mind, it's just too similar to Batman. But then also, I think there's just better story writing you can do with someone in this predicament. But also, on the other side of that argument, you have the Batman stories, right, that are so entertaining, and he is a billionaire. So I honestly think the main reason is because the Batman comparisons, the biggest DC name is Batman, so maybe they're like, oh, now they're just going after Batman and they're turning him all white.
DC's the blueprint, by Snyder's the blueprint.
I had a quick question though, like, isn't there another character in the MCU that wasn't like maybe there was a different version of the character? I think my mind is honestly going Ghost Rider here, because that was like one of the instances where Johnny Blaze wasn't like the first Ghost Rider, right?
Well, yeah, there's one person that's like, Taylor, you might even know his name more than me, but he's like the Western Ghost Rider. He was just the rider, where his rider was a horse that caught on fire and stuff like that.
His rider was a horse.
Carter Slade.
Carter Slade, yeah. So
but in the MCU, is there another version of that, or am I completely just mixing up Ghost Rider?
There is no Ghost Rider in the MCU yet, right? So there was.
I'm saying like let's say Stephen Strange was like the second Doctor Strange, and then maybe it's like Mark Strange was the first one. Completely random example I pulled up here, but isn't there another version of a character like that?
You got it. You just aren't getting there. It's Ant-Man with Scott Lang.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, that's who it was. Where Hank Pym was the original Ant-Man. He's the bigger one in the comics, but now it's kind of transferred to Scott Lang and stuff like that. So that would be the example.
I guess there you have.
I beat you, Bubs.
Yeah.
I beat you.
The delay on YouTube definitely saved him there, or saved you there rather. But I guess with the Scott Lang thing, having Hank Pym, it very much wrote into the story, like actually having Hank Pym as someone in the world. Do you think it's possible we actually get like that other Moon Knight guy that you're mentioning?
Like one of the personalities?
Well, do they ever interface? Like, what was the name of the billionaire that you just mentioned?
So Stephen Grant, that's who he is right now. But Stephen Grant, Jake Lockley's the taxi driver, and then Mark Spector is like the CIA mercenary guy. So there is times where they do all talk to each other, but that's when the comics get like as trippy as can be, So
okay,
I do think we're definitely gonna get Mark, and I think that we could. I think if it's 6 episodes, if we got Steven, Mark, and Moon Knight, I think that's a good base to start at. They could throw in one of the other ones if they wanted, but I think that's good to start off. Like I said, I think Mr. Knight will be a long ways away, and I could easily see season 2 starting off like him in a cab, and same thing, not remember. But again, who knows? Because we'll get to it later on when Marlene calls him. He has no idea. He has his whole other life, so he could be fucking being a taxi driver at nighttime already. We don't know. Like you could get a whole episode, and the GA is gonna be so confused. It's gonna open with Oscar Isaac like driving a taxi for like 15 minutes. Like, what the fuck is going on with this show? And we're gonna be like, oh my god, it's the best. Family Clay has a good shot of Mephisto of the series will be Daredevil. I could see that, especially with Charlie Cox. But if he's in London, I know he does end up like he's primarily a New York based hero, but if he is in London, I wonder what's going to happen there. Taylor, what do you think about them changing the origins of Stephen Grant or the character? As of right now, seeming he's not a billionaire, he is working. He's the exact opposite. He's working at a gift shop.
I didn't even know his origins, so I really don't have much I can really add to this. I mean, I only knew him from Ultimate Alliance. That was my like you, Travis. That was my character I love to play as, and that's just what got me super jazzed and dive into that game. So
did they say his first? Sorry, you keep going.
Even if they did say his name in the game, I wouldn't have recalled it. I would have been too young. Okay. So
I think they give him like a little like synopsis, and I think that was still in the era where I can't remember the exact switch over because it does happen around like the 2006-7 era. But I think when that game was made, it still primarily was this guy's just a superhero that like has these powers from gods and whatnot. It's not till like mid 2000s till they really started laying into the he might be a little off. This might not be real. He has split personalities. For a while, like I said, all these Stephen Grant was his billionaire persona, but he knew it was. Jake Lockley was so he can get a taxi driver and like go on the ground and find out information, where they form them into split personalities. So
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and Espo's answer, the GA is the general audience for people that don't know. It's just, quick turn, everything. A 20-minute unbroken shot of Oscar Isaac driving real taxi, not even scripted, just hidden cameras. I would love that. If this show got as weird as that, I would love it. Absolutely.
Shall we carry on?
Yeah, let's carry on here. Clearly he doesn't like her. He's going to fucking murder her in a bathroom, She calls him Steve. He says Steven,
I think she calls him Stevie.
Oh, right, Stevie. Yeah. Now this
that was the shot that completely tripped me out. It was like the second time, because the first time I just watched it, on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that!
Oh yeah, that's
a perfect pause.
Right. That was a perfect pause. That's Conchu right there. Probably it does. It looks
so
like,
creepy.
Yeah, and I just can't wait to have a show where this stuff in Marvel is running after this man for his life. That's great. It looks great.
The way that he like goes down the hallway too. I'm like, I've seen this horror movie already.
Yes.
Like he just looks so terrifying. Ugh.
Looking like a James Wan Conjuring movie,
I honestly think this is like the first episode too, or like first, on release, because they'll probably do 1 or 2 episodes on release. Did they do that for Loki as well?
No, they didn't do that for Loki.
Oh,
no,
okay.
And they didn't do it
Maybe
for
not.
Falcon either. They just did it for Hawkeye and WandaVision. So and not What If. So technically, we're 2 out of 5 for them. But I just think because of the Obi-Wan thing, they're gonna have to drop 2, unless they're doing it the same day. But I just don't see that. So. Taylor, were you going to say something? You look like you were taking a breath. Was I wrong?
It was a breath that I was going to say something, but it's not worth saying anymore.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. Okay. We always respect your opinion here, Taylor Field.
Carry on.
And then, this is great. The way he's moving around. And then, no, just an old lady. Just an old lady. Nothing to worry about there.
I actually thought, like, of the scene when it kind of diffuses the tension that she was going to, like, immediately insta-turn into the god.
Yeah,
Conch or Conchu.
The
Conch.
Yeah, the Conch. This is great because this is him starting to get calls from Arlene, who may or may not be the love interest, about like, hey, where have you been? You're still alive. And he's like, why you call me Mark? And we start to get these things. You got Ethan Hawke. So his hair is he needs a barber. But like, yeah, this character right now, they say he's Aaron Harrow, who's like, he is only. I know a little bit about him because the character they're saying he was only in 1 issue of Moon Knight comics ever. So either it is a mask and he is somebody actual. Conju had to beat an old lady with a stick to get that cranberry sauce. Either he is that character, or either they're hiding a bigger character and they're using this as a front, or they just picked a very unknown, unused characters so they can do whatever they want with them, which I'm fine with. Like Moon Knight has some fun baddies, but really, like Kirklin was talking about before we did this, the biggest baddie is like himself. Like it's dealing with that and everything like that. But he has Bushmaster. He has what is it? He has
Bushmaster. He needs to find out Manscaped, Lawnmower 4.0.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he has Sun King, who some people might think this is. He has some right now. He has what's the new guy? Night. I can't remember. He's in the new comics. He's like a black version of Moon Knight. It's like his Venom are almost pretty much like they're doing
Black
now.
Knight.
It's something like Black Moon or something like that.
Oh,
Legitimately, it is. Like it's very close. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm totally fine with it being just more of a side villain because as we laid out, like if you have a bigger villain, but he's also fighting his own inner demons, like it's just it could get so messy very quickly, and yes. I hope they stay away from that.
Yes. Hunter's Moon. Thank you, Fanboy Clay. Yeah, he's like somebody that thinks Moon Knight's like lost his way and stuff like that. I haven't fully. Okay, can you go back a little bit there?
Because like
Yes, this is what excites me the most because this is if that's taken right from Ethan Hawke's looking creepy though. I will give him that. But this is looking ripped right out of the 2016 run. This to me is clearly an insane asylum or something like that, where the way he's dressed, the way it's lit. And I don't know if he's going to spend an episode in there. I would love if the season ended in there. That was about season 2. I'm not predicting a whole full season of the 2016 run, but again, who knows when this point is? This could be later on in the show. This could be a flashback to like a decade ago when he was in there and he broke out. Like that's what's gonna be fun in the show. Like these shots, you can't tell exactly what the plot is or what lay it out, and this could be at any point. So me seeing him in an insane asylum, oh man, it got me going.
Do you think this could be someone like more important than just like a worker at the hospital? Like, could this be someone that's like really messing with his mind and he's just tripping out here? Yeah.
It definitely could be.
Could it be himself?
Could be himself. Could be Frenchie. It could be a lot of people. But yeah, I think they're not hiding it, but I think it will play some sort of role. Good shot on Oscar Isaac again. It's a Riddler. Fuck. It's black and blue and diddle. You. And this is great because he just completely wakes up in some sort of moment. Yeah, where he just John Wicked a bunch of people, but had no idea. that shot of that guy, was that him falling out of the truck?
Yeah, at the end there.
Is it actually him?
No, that was a different body falling out the back, and then he like falls out somewhere else.
Yeah, that guy got fucked up.
Yeah,
Looks
that's
like
a different guy.
Is that Kid Harrington?
He's about to get run over by those
in the truck.
cars.
That's Kid Harrington right there.
Yeah.
And that's Blade. They're like a buddy cop, like they're the villains trying to find Moon Knight.
Daredevil's definitely in the back seat. So, and then there's just a shot of him falling, and then right here, pause that. I'm imagining
that's a rolled ankle.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. I'm imagining that shot of. I didn't want to pause on the ankle. I wanted to pause.
Oh, right before.
I should have clarified. Right here. Yeah. This, I think, is the beginning of the show. Or if they flash back, I don't think they're going to start with Mark Spector, but this is clearly when he's in Egypt. He gets the powers. I won't explain the full origin because we're about to get it in a month or so. But that's what I think that is. And he'll get revealed. And it's going to be a fun time,
looking like Apocalypse or something,
Oh no,
Egypt.
That's how they bring in the X-Men.
don't bring that up. I don't want that.
Running with a bag. Oh gosh. Oh, what a beautiful way.
And that's a lot of people think it's anonymous. And then obviously also I meant to looking great. No joke stinger, which is great. Oh, I meant to say Bushman, not Bushmaster. Bushmaster's a Luke Cage villain. I always fucking screw it up, but Bushman. But
I love this little jump with the logo.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Can you?
Oh, baby.
Do me a favor, Kirklin. Can you go back to where he pulls?
Go check him out.
Yeah, go watch Film Junkie live right now. After us, though. Sorry, Dave. After.
Oh no, it started.
Oh no,
you're literally watching.
We'll break down Film Junkie's thoughts.
Don't exit. Yeah. Go to the part where he pulls that device out of like the sarcophagus.
I like how you said sarcophagus. I didn't even see that.
I don't even see. What's the timestamp there, Taylor Fields?
I don't know the timestamp. It was like when he gets the phone, like, why are you calling me Mark or whatever that scene was. It should be.
Oh right,
there.
okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, way back here.
No. In the middle of that all. There we go. It's coming soon. Like that. When
yeah. Go there.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. That's where he's hiding his old personality.
It's got like the watch. It's got like the watch from Hawkeye.
He's also.
You want me to keep going, Taylor?
Yeah, go a little bit more.
Little gator.
Mm-hmm. Unknown caller. Yep. Okay, we're waiting. Taylor has something good. Lots of books in his house. Lots of books.
He's a gift shop owner.
He's a cute little. I think you're seeing stuff. When did the sarcophagus thing happen, Taylor?
Just rewatch the episode or the trailer.
Pretty much that's what we are. Is it just in your mind that you saw him pull something from the sarcophagus?
Yeah. Taylor wakes up. He's surrounded by sand.
No, Alfredo, actually. It'd be Alfredo for Taylor. And look at that, though. That shot when he was changing into Moon Knight, it was spliced. It wasn't the same shot. It was showing him in the bathroom, and then it shows him outside. So clearly happens a lot. So
yeah.
And who knows what happens here. It looks like a big fight. And Taylor had a Moon Knight moment. He 100% did. He 100% did because he thought he remembered something and it wasn't true. You said lots of blood on him?
One more time. No, I no blood at all on him.
No, they don't bleed these things,
Taylor's right here.
Taylor, you got it or?
No, because I forgot it was from the Disney Plus Day footage because there is a thing with an entity in the background, And I guess now we can relate that to what the thing is. He's probably beating up in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right.
Well, there you go. Anything else on Moon Knight, gentlemen?
Can't wait. March
Yeah.
30th.
We'll be there. We'll be reviewing it up late night. And everything
Probably
like that.
Tuesday midnight. That's
Tuesday
their day
midnight
usually.
in a few weeks. Yeah, it's Wednesday or whatever, So
Whatever the hell it is.
just drop it at fucking 9 p.m. So, well, let's take an ad break here, and then we're gonna talk about some more Marvel stuff. We got some Fantastic Four rumors, so we'll be right back. As Bubs with the Justice League, something is definitely bleeding. Fuck that movie. Oh man, Justice League. Very nice. Thanks for writing that down. And we're
Just
back.
practicing.
That's good. That's good. All the practice. That just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any major big fuck ups this week, it's all Kirklin because he's doing uploading this week for the first time.
In my training period. I need a little name tag.
Yeah,
training.
Podcaster in training, a pit. So who on earth wants a Santa Claus show? Well, Trail, you better say to the end of the show when that's the last content, 'cause you're about to find out, son. But so this is one I want to preference that I would skip 15 to 20 minutes, or you could do the cutout stuff like this. This is one story that I'm sure Kirkland's be like, I wish I didn't know this, but here we are. We do a podcast, so now I know it. So this story is about a current rumor going on right now with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Because obviously right now we have lots of rumored castings or cameos, stuff like that. And right now there's a rumor that Reed Richards is in this movie. So here's the fun thing.
Wish I didn't know that.
First of all, every Marvel character under the sun is rumored of it. The Leaker War of 2020. Yeah, this is what Espo's referring to, and I'm very excited. So there's this new scooper on the scene called My Time to Shine. We've talked about her a few times. She's had some scoops. She's been reliable, but she's still newer, still trying to prove herself. But still, she had put out that she had heard a rumor, and she's like, oh, spoiler, whatever. But again, this is rumor because this is why we're talking about, because you have scoopers debating, as we talked about before with No Way Home. Like Emma Stone wasn't that. She was rumored for that from bigger sources than these people, right? So that's why, to me, it's safe. It's not a leaked photo. It's not anything like that. So they put, Taylor's taking his headphones off. He doesn't want to hear. But she put out that the rumor she's hearing that Mr. Fantastic is in Multiverse of Madness, and he is played by John Krasinski. Now, there's a second amendment to this rumor, but that is, the rumor going around. That's been a fan cast for a long time. People have really wanted it. They're all wrong, but people have really wanted it. So now there's this other scooper who S-Bubs will agree with that. He's been around the block a lot longer, has a bit more of a track record. His name's like a viewer non or something like that. He puts out that he has heard the same things that Mr. Fantastic is in Doctor Strange, but John Krasinski is not playing him. So it's very interesting. And here's the fun thing where she said, and I don't know if I think he collaborated this and agreed that this would be a variant. It wouldn't be what our MCU Reed Richards is going to be. It's going to be, okay, someone from a different universe. So that's why you could have John Krasinski. You could have even Gerfufford or whatever, however you say his name from the original Fantastics. You could have, you're not going to get Miles Teller, but you could have Miles Teller, or you could have a new actor. So Taylor Field, how do you, what are your thoughts on seeing a variant of Mr. Fantastic before we meet our MCU one? And I'm going to put a gun to your head. What side are you on? And because this is just like the scoop war, but do you think that Marvel will go after this long sought after fan cast of people wanting Krasinski and he's going to come and have some fun? Or do you think it's going to be someone else playing Mr. Fantastic in Multiverse of Madness?
I mean, I like John Krasinski. I think he'd be a fantastic Mr. of the Fantastic Four. I do think, though, that having a variant is a very interesting way to bring in a character. I mean, I guess that being said, you're bringing in you're bringing more so in the title and the hero than you really are the character themselves, I guess, as an introduction, because you're showing off this is the leader of the Fantastic Four, but just like a variant of him. Our real Mr. Fantastic will be showed at a later date, I guess. Very weird concept, and I feel like the GA might be a little bit confused by that, but just kind of going forward, it's kind of like, oh, this big time actor gets casted as you're Mr. Fantastic. Oh, wow, cool. But you're just playing a variant in this one brief 10-minute scene in the movie. We actually casted so-and-so to be the full-time Mr. Fantastic and get his own movie and everything. So I can see them kind of like it being a little bit weird, but I like this idea a lot. I think they should run with it. And again, it just put everyone in this movie, but most of all, it just gives so much time to Ghost Rider because he's gonna just come in on his fucking motorbike and save Mr. Fantastic, dismiss the variants. It's gonna be great.
Most screen time out of everyone in the movie. It's
More
just
than
Ghost
Doctor
Rider.
Strange.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Endless
gonna love it.
Strange. Or
Yeah.
S Strange.
Well, I thought you brought. I'll go because you brought up something I was going to say pretty similar. Is I could believe them doing this as far as we want a fun scene. Everyone's always wanted Krasinski. It's going to come in one little moment. Here we go. Lots of fun. Look at John Krasinski as Reed Richards. You guys have photoshopped this for years. Here you go. You got what you wanted. But I just feel like, and I don't know if the general audience, they could be confused. Definitely some will be. But it is to me a strange way. And I don't even know how I feel about meeting X-Men because there's some rumors of Xavier, right? I don't even know how I feel about meeting X-Men in the MCU before we've met our MCU X-Men. I feel it's a little strange. I feel like it's a little reverse engineering, even though I like seeing these characters and maybe Patrick Stewart or people are hoping for Hugh Jackman and stuff like that. But I would prefer them being introduced and then meeting them later, like in What If. But my point is not so much of the confusion. My point is, okay, so they introduced John Krasinski. Everyone's wanted this for a long time, right? They introduced him, and let's say John Krasinski comes in and kills it. And now that variant's supposed to go back to his world. And then we get another actor cast as Reed Richards in the MCU, and it's not John Krasinski. I feel like people will be bummed, and I feel like that sets up the next actor for a really tough spot. Even if John Krasinski does not want to play Mr. Fantastic, let's say he just wants to do a cameo or have a scene. If he's like, I want to do this, and then I'm done. I don't want to be in a superhero franchise, whatever. I feel like, again, if people really love Mr. Fantastic or Krasinski is fantastic, and then you go, oh, that's the only time you saw him, people I feel will be almost a little resentful of who gets cast in the MCU after. And we've seen this happen before where when it got casted so close, look at when we had Evan Peters versus Aaron Taylor Johnson. Taylor might be disagreeing, but most people are like, he's not Evan Peters now. Take out Ralph Bohn and everything. Just talk about that era. It's like, he's not Evan Peters. He's not Evan Peters. And he almost like didn't get a real start because he had this like looming cloud of, oh, everyone already loves this Quicksilver and they don't really care about yours. And I feel like that could happen again if it's Krasinski. I think that it will happen. S-Bubs, if all leaks were true, there was no dialogue in this movie. It would just be heard over nonstop clapping and cheering. Yeah, that's true. There's going to be a lot of cameos. But and again, people know how I feel. I would, if he's just a variant we never see him again, that's fine. And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe this movie will prove me wrong. But then I'll be one of those people who'll be like, damn, they should have casted Krasinski. They really screwed up on not making our main MCU. So what about you, Kirklin? What do you think about being introduced to a variant? What do you think about Krasinski possibly playing him? Like I said, it's a 50-50 as far as like
I shouldn't have looked.
Man, when Travis was going, I was like bursting out laughing to myself. I did a good job at muffling. Shouldn't have sent it. I knew I would have lost it though by the end of the
click
cast.
in as soon as I just saw it.
Kirklin had to pass a meme on to somebody.
I know. I'm bad. No, I agreed with a lot of what you said there, Travis.
It's so good. Oh, it's worth it.
Someone bring it up. It's not inappropriate. It's not inappropriate at all. We gotta show that because if people don't know, in GeekVerse we have a meme group that's just for memes. We started because some people were not a fan of all of them and everything like that. I will describe for the listeners. So it is a photo of a couple kissing, and he has his arm wrapped around the lady's head. And someone says, "Could I request a photo edit of the phone would be removed and his hand would be holding me instead?" And then below is just this. Is why I go to YouTube. It's just a photo of his massive hand holding her entire head.
It's good
a good
stuff.
one. Anyway, so what would you think of a variant and being played by Krasinski?
Yeah. So I mean, my first thought was like, why not have him in there? Like, I feel like I could believe any leaker at this point. It's a Multiverse of Madness. Just with some of the other rumors of who could be appearing in the show, like, I don't discount anyone. Like, I think anyone could appear in this. But you also brought up some good points there, Travis, how if we get Krasinski here, you know, it's been in a lot of fan casting. A lot of people have been wanting him. And then this is all we get. And then when we actually get Reed Richards, it's someone... Ugh, I feel dirty even bringing it up, but like Aldrich, is that his name from
Aldrich
like
Aaron,
the solo,
right?
yeah, like the solo effect, you know, like he's a good actor, but like unfortunately he's just stepped into the shoes of Harrison Ford, and therefore I think majority were like, this guy sucks, which sucks. It sucks for the guy, it sucks whenever that happens. But I think that could happen with the Reed Richards effect of just seeing Krasinski in the role. Maybe he just fits the suit so perfectly. But I think also like I don't think John Krasinski really wants to sign up for like a multi-movie deal for Marvel. I don't know. I just feel
He's directing now. He's busy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy, but I feel like he wants to focus more on like actually producing and like making his own stuff.
I do. He said that exact thing.
Okay, sorry.
Verbatim.
I'm not in that group chat.
I want to focus on verbatim.
I got removed from that
Producing
group
and
chat for
directing.
sharing
Yeah,
too
you
many
did.
dirty memes.
Yeah.
But so I'm kind of in the middle. I didn't really think about that till you brought that up though, Travis. Because before I'm like why not? What's the harm there? But there is some harm because maybe when we get the actual Reed Richards, it's not the best. But that's not a guarantee. It could be an even better individual than Krasinski and someone maybe more of an unknown actor that just really blossoms into a fabulous actor because of the role. And I don't know. I think I'm somewhere in the middle in there.
You say that knowing the internet, and I just feel like whoever gets cast would railroad this fucking actor. You know,
What are you talking about? The Twitter's nice, at least on my feed.
Yeah.
This isn't a DC show or movie,
yet.
but not yet. I don't know, cause yeah. I think part of me is like throw everyone in there. Let's get Edward Norton in there. Let's just get like wild and crazy. But I think if you lean too hard in that realm, it does run the risk of actually hurting some of the MCU moving forward. I didn't think that was possible until I saw Eternals, and now I'm like, oh no, MCU's not safe.
Yeah.
Even previous phases, but
You guys couldn't cook pasta till you met the Eternals.
so yeah, I don't know. I like the legitimacy of it. I think I'm 50-50 on the Krasinski thing. I'm not.
How do you feel about debuting a variant before actual version? Because Atreyo brought that up, and he's talking with S. Bubs. He says variants are versions of characters that's traded from our main time and not alternate by the age. Andrew, Toby, not variants. And then, like S. Bubs says, if the time straight thousands, million years ago, they could totally be different. So technically, they're still variants of Peter Parker. And that's where it's like the term variant is just going to be used for, hey, it's not going to be when you get our Fantastic Four with John Watts, it's not going to be these actors, you know?
Yeah. No, exactly. Fuck, I glanced over that meme again. Started smirking. Yeah. No. I if it's the first version of Reed Richards in the MCU and it is a variant,
It's odd to me.
It is odd.
Yeah.
And again, it plays into that factor of like, well, if we get John Krasinski as the variant and then we get the actual, whatever if we're calling this Earth 616, whatever this is, and it's just I think I think no matter what happens, people are going to be just grumpy over whatever
They'll
happens.
be grumpy later on. The weekend, they'll love it. And then when the only out you could have is he plays a variant and you play it safe if people love him, and then you do bring him back as the main MCU version, because it is a variant, right? So you could be like, they loved him, but I think it's a tough precedent to set as far as even with the Xavier, it's just, but I don't know, maybe lots of these people will die and that's how you don't expect them back. But
yeah, I think another way that they could do it is if we have, the variant John Krasinski, like actually have him like quite different than what you'd expect Reed Richards to be, so that we're not like, oh, look how they nailed Reed Richard, like the first version of MCU.
They make you not want John Krasinski.
Yeah, exactly. But like maybe lean in the comedic route of like, okay, this is what the fans want. They wanted the fan casting, and then we gave him what he wanted, but we had our own spin on it to make him seem like a second choice. I think that would be a smart way to handle that situation. But for my own thoughts, I'm pretty 50-50 on it.
Yeah, I don't know if they would go this way in the movie, but they have done it before where there's, certain people, like we read House of M and, what's his name? Why am I forgetting? Some character becomes a movie star. I can't remember, but either way.
Peter Parker.
Yeah, Peter Parker does. Well, he becomes famous for being Peter Parker, but there's another character that's like an actor. But either way, it'd be kind of fun if they went to a world where John Krasinski is like famous for playing Reed Richards, and that's the joke where it's like, he's Reed Richards, all right, and everything. But we'll have to see. It's only a few months away, and there's lots of rumors. So if people like him, just Secret Wars him into the main timeline or whatever. And yeah, that's the thing. Secret Wars is like a merging you could do. So Lots of rumors going around right now. Multiverse of Madness. Lots of variations. I think Taylor will at least be somewhat happy with what he gets. If they don't pull that off, I'll be very sad for you.
This
But
thumbnail's gonna be crazy for Multiverse of Madness.
Gonna have like 10 variants of Ghost Rider.
I don't even know if there is 10, but I guess there's probably is close.
Taylor's gonna make some.
100%. Well, let's jump universes. Let's go into our multiverse. Let's talk about DC. So let's start about positive news first. What were you going to go, Kirk? What were you going to say?
This is a great place to start.
Yeah, let's start with the positive news. So the positive news is we got our first suit reveal. So obviously you can go check out the vodka stream. We were on that this week. Very fun time with Dave and the guests and stuff. So we talked about, so if you tuned in at all, which I know some people have, then you've heard these thoughts before. But if you haven't, Phil, what have you thought? Because I think you were, I won't say the biggest fan, but you're quite, you've given a good stamp of approval to this suit.
Yeah, I mean, I like the color scheme. I really, really do. I like that original like Batman purple yellow kind of look to it. And again, this isn't like a solid straight up purple. It's definitely a little bit more of like a navy dark purplish blue.
I think it's purple. I'm not seeing navy blue. What the fuck?
I see purple. I see. It's not straight purple as like the original Batgirl suit is. It's definitely got a little bit more blue in there. But again, that could be the lighting though. But it's awesome. Like I think it's super cool, and it just seems super like utility tactful. Like this is my first kind of like build of this suit, and it's just going out there to fight crime. And yeah, I like it. I like the short cape. I wasn't sure how I would feel about like long hair with the kind of like cowl and everything like that. But yeah. I feel like this really, really works. I like it a lot. I was never a fan of the way they styled like the CW's like Bat Hero, how they had like that hair kind of design with the cowl and everything. And even then, like if we go back even further, like Batman Forever, where Batgirl was
Batman and Robin,
where she it was weird with her. Like I like that where her hair was just completely showed. She didn't have like the pointy ears, but when she was on the bike and she had like the pointy ears on her forehead kind of thing, I really didn't like that kind of look that much. But this, we get like the best of both worlds. It's an awesome cowl. We get the pointy ears.
we
get
saying
the hair.
That tonight. We've said best of both worlds like 3 times. I'm like, you're feeling a Hannah Montana. Fuck.
Because Moon Knight, he's living in 2 different worlds.
Yeah,
he's in like quadruple worlds. But Kirklin, you actually were off the stream at this point. What are you thinking of Barbara Gordon's look here?
I quickly gave my thoughts on the vodka stream, but it was very, very rapid.
I had one too many. You know, I don't remember that.
Too many lime rickeys.
Too many lime. Whoa, shit! Pop shop, call me.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I really like the suit. It's something very like grounded, and by that term I mean like I can believe that she made this herself. I believe that this is a good like origin suit. I think some of the talk, at least I've seen on Twitter and around, and even what you guys were mentioning on the stream, was like, yeah, she will get that Wayne tech eventually, but like
there's concept art of her with a different suit already.
I saw a great. Is it the meme when he's got like? It's like basically the BVS suit.
Don't pull it
just
up,
like
Taylor. Taylor, don't even. I see you searching through your computer. Don't even pull up the Michael Keaton first look from the Flash trailer. Don't you do, you bastard. What meme were you referring to, Kirklin?
No, it's like Barbara. It's Barbara in like the BVS suit where it's like the armor, and she's got like the full on mask, and it's like motherfuckers, you know, expecting this to be her first suit.
Yeah, just full on tactical and looking ready to take on Superman and everything.
Yeah, it's not this though.
Oh, no,
that wasn't me. That was all Kirkland.
I know we had it ready in the chamber. It's so good. It's so good. One of
Taylor's
Taylor's best works.
Yeah, between that and Morbius Bilbo, those are his 2 winners.
But no, like it's just a great origin suit. You know, like she can improve from this, but this is still just so awesome. It stays really true to like the comic version. You guys were shouting out what specific comic. I haven't read that specific comic, but I've at least Burnside,
yeah.
Okay.
Bernstein.
Barnstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I honestly I love it. I think
Who's clicking it? Is that you, Travis?
that's Travis.
me.
He's coming over to the dark side.
I was waiting to see if he had Tamora Morrison teeth, but he didn't. I like retrospect. You should add that new meme.
The veneers.
Get his teeth,
Fuck.
put him on the bat suit. Yeah, that's your next job.
I think Travis, you mentioned this on the stream, how like the look looks good, but the photo's terrible. They easily could have spent some more time and just gotten a better photo there. But I think the running theme that we were kind of saying is it's just so good that we get this image as opposed to like some random leak photo of like just seeing her like standing talking to the director, and it's like, oh, this is what it looks like, and people just I don't know, just shit on it, pick it apart, and just be like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. Like
they're definitely really shitting on it now.
It's really smart that they do this, we had that with Batman with Pattinson. I think that was the time I'm like, this guy's my Batman? What the hell's this? Come on, this isn't Bale.
So wrong. Remember hashtag
I was so wrong, and now it's like the exact same like image of him Batman, but in the trailer, and he's just like looking up, and I'm like, God, this looks amazing. But
I remember all those rumors, and people weren't for it. Taylor wasn't for it, but you know what? I was there from the beginning, just like Ben Affleck. Fuck everybody. I was there for Ben Affleck. I was there for all the Batmans. A suit photo showed up today, so if they had taken longer, it would have leaked. I didn't see that new suit photo today. Not that like I need to see it because we've saw it, but I didn't even know that happened. But that probably is the case because it's not a big deal because we've seen the suit leak, or we've seen the suit put out. So if it was our first look, it'd be everywhere, and we'd be looking at this blurry image. But yeah, I really like it. As I've said before, the photo sucks. It's just really is like. They forgot, like, oh shit, we're about to shoot outside. Okay, take something with your iPhone 7. Okay, there, and upload it to our Instagram. Like, I just feel like it is dark, so that's the problem. I like the suit. It's a good first look suit. Like I said, they show concept art DC fan of her in a different suit. Clearly, whether it's in the middle or near the end, Michael Keaton will like upgrade her, and that's where it's cool. Burnside, yeah, it's a bit more of a grounded run for her, but that's where it's like this movie's probably going to be more grounded. She's just fighting Brendan Fraser's Firefly, so I feel like this is a good start off here. You get to do origins of the comic book, and then I hope they keep that color aesthetic. You get the armor, and yeah, it's really I like it. I'm excited to see more like HD photos of it, more in previews and stuff like that. So yeah, anything else on the suit? So we're going to take our next ad break, and then we're going to talk about a little Dick Grayson action. So we will be right back. And we're back. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk about Batgirl. And the reason we're talking about Batgirl is last week we had a mural of Dick Grayson with Batman. And we talked about, they could be set up for this future, blah, blah, blah. Well, once this mural happened, it's like either scoopers start hitting up their friends or they were told not to say anything. Because scoopers galore were saying, this is setting up Robin, Nightwing, whatever in the future. They're looking at actors. And lo and behold, one scooper said, kind of insinuated the announcement that we might be hearing this near the end of the month or soon because they're probably filming. But lo and behold, they are least looking at actors. And who seems to be the top candidate is the person that Kirklin shot out first last week is Dylan O'Brien seems to be the top candidate. Now, this is not confirmed. This is a rumor. This is put out by other people. But it feels like it's that similar rumblings of like Haley Steinfeld, Oscar Isaac, when it's like, a few people have it, and it's like, we can't officially say something, and maybe they won't say something because they want it to be a surprise. So, Kirkland, that's what I was going to ask you. Last week, we just speculated, like, this is cool. This mural is going to set up something for down the line. It feels like we might already be there. So, if, let's say, whoever it is, Dylan O'Brien, because obviously you had him on your list, so you would think it would be a good choice, but let's say, okay, said actor is in this movie as Robin. Do you think it is a flashback? Do you think it is a cameo? Do you think it is a larger role? What do you think? And then I have some more specific questions. But if there's an actor cast, what are they doing?
What are they doing? Well, yeah, I hope he's still kicking. I don't know. I hope it's like even possibly just like him almost doing his own thing, and then just like I don't know, because I also want flashbacks. I feel like I kind of want everything, and I can't. Okay, Travis, now keep your podcast.
Maybe this will go to I'm going to show my true quality. Maybe this will help your thought process. In this canon, do you think Dick and Barbara would already know each other, or would this be them meeting? Because they had dated before previously. In this movie, it seems like there's a character. I can't remember his last name. He's James something, who ends up becoming Barbara's fiance. Dick's going to ruin that relationship because he's going to get right in there and show his goods. But do you think in this canon, would they have had a previous relationship, even of just Dick and Barbara? Or do you think this is them meeting, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I can really buy into both sides. I
Yeah.
think it's always more fun when they've had some sort of history and then they just meet and they're not all like on perfect terms. For me, I think I would just lean that route because it's just more interesting storytelling wise. Um, but I can really see it play both ways. But since I got to pick one or the other, I'm just gonna lean in the one I want, which they
Mhm.
actually have had some history there. And yeah, it would just be a really really fun dynamic, like with our protagonist of having this character that, comic book people like know him, at least like that version of him, like actually having a relationship with her, and also just him as the character and being part of the Bat family, like that would be really interesting. Just like keeping their personal relationships to the side, but just being more Bat members.
Mhm.
That was another thing I think was brought up on the vodka stream when I was gone, but I was listening to it. Of just like it's just so great to get more Bat family, and I am someone that like have briefly touched on like the animated show, so I really don't know much about the Bat family, and I didn't really think about that honestly until it was brought up on the vodka stream of just the lack thereof, like
Oh yeah.
Bat family. It's really exciting time, and I honestly I think I'll take no matter what version they go with, like Dick. Felt weird saying that for some reason.
I know
Just
because
having Dick in the show.
there is a big upheaval because one comic book they tried to change his name to Richard or Rick, and everyone's like, no, his name's Dick, blah blah blah. I'm
Yeah,
still on the side of like I love Dick Grayson, but I am still on the side that I think they should go with Rick or Richard and stuff like that. I just think it is like a little because people say, oh well, if you find it's funny, that's a problem with you. All right, I guess you could say that, but I just feel it's strange that we still got this guy named Dick. Like it's not the fucking 60s
50s,
50s. Yeah.
60s. Yeah,
Yeah, like it just feels dated. It doesn't feel like anyone in this age would go by Dick, or like that's where it just doesn't play. And not even a comedic route. It's just like I wouldn't like, oh, I have my son Richard, hey, I'm Dick, like yeah, it's a strange call. So
absolutely.
I'll go because I'll make Taylor Switzerland, where I'm fine either way. I like it both ways. John Robert Blake is his name. Yeah, that's gonna be his name, right? I'm fine with both ways. It's always good to have history, but I think the reason why they will go the route of them just meeting is because I feel this is like the origin story of Batgirl, right? And then we've talked about this is her first suit. So I feel like for whatever reason she's going to take up being a vigilante. Maybe her and Dick Grayson knew each other, but obviously she probably didn't know he was Rob and stuff like that. We don't know the origin of what inspires her to become Batgirl, but that's how I could see them meeting for the first time. As she starts this up, Bruce gets interested, like what's going on here, and maybe that's how somehow they meet up. Whether it's at the Batcave, who knows? But that's why I think they'll do that almost as the first meet cute. You could have them have history because if she does have a fiance and then the fiance walks in on just them talking about like superhero stuff, but they have to play it off, and the boyfriend's really worried because they're awkward, and he thinks it's awkward because they are like maybe having a relationship, and no, they're just talking about like what Brendan Fraser's doing, fucking up Gotham and stuff. Like, there's lots of fun you could do with that, but I think they might go the route, especially if it is a character like the new Dick Grayson. We have to meet him, right? Michael Keaton's Batman, we don't have to meet.
Right.
And Dylan O'Brien, I said last week, I think he's a good choice if he's Warner Brothers' top choice. He's not anyone that jumps on like, man, that's perfect. Finn Wittrock was my one, but then when I looked up, he's almost 40. So I was like, shit, I'm not going to happen there. So he's one of those choices that I don't really have a great choice for Robin right now. So I'm fine if he is the one. I think he would do a good job. Artreo says, Batgirl straight to streaming, gonna suck. Well, I hope it doesn't. I hope that either you at least get a theatrical run because I'd love to see it there, or I do hope that it gets a duel or it just moves to theatrical. That happened with Blue Beetle. It was streaming, and then it's like, no, it's just theatrical now. So I hope that happens. But yeah, that's the route I think they'll go, is they're just meeting for the first time. And I'm so down. From going a couple days to, oh, they might do this, to, oh yeah, they're looking into actors right now. Bring it on. I want so much of the Batman lore, and I love Dick Grayson. He's part of the reason why my hair is dyed black right now, because anytime I see Nightwing, it's like, fuck, look at that jet black hair, and that's what I want. So Taylor Phil, Kirkland's on he's going the route of they would know each other previously. I'm going the route they're meeting for the first time. One, where are you on that subject? And two, how do you feel that we might be a lot sooner to a newer Robin than we thought even last week?
Yeah, I feel like this whole kind of trajectory of all these DC films and this content is kind of immersing you in pre-existing storylines and relationships.
Mhm.
and then kind of getting the flashbacks of everything, and or like not even like flashback, more like a prequel, just kind of showcasing like, hey, here's like their origin story or where they came from, all this kind of jazz, where the story started off. I feel like that they're already going to have this pre-existing relationship or knowledge of each other. But as far as it goes, like getting a new Robin, I think it's about time. The closest we got was just the Joke's on You and that Man of Steel and the Batcave, and it's such a shame that, I mean, they never addressed that really. What happened? Just the Joker obviously popped him, and that's it.
They Snyder Cut. They did remember a little at the end that he killed Robin, but we figured that, So
yeah, it's just a shame that we went through. I mean, like, I feel like Robin just goes hand in hand with Batman, and once you establish your Batman, you got to have that Robin figure at some point in time. So this is great because, again, this is all intertwined into, like, it's spaced out, but it still shares that same kind of multiversal connection to, like, Ben Affleck's Batman and all that realm and everything. So I like that. Again, and this is Michael Keaton's Robin, which is super fantastic to see. Like, it's something we never got. My heart pours, like, or mourns, not pours, mourns for all, like, the dire Batman fans that just love the Keaton Batman and just thought, that's it, that's all we're gonna get. And now here we are, and we're getting to see Keaton with his Robin, and just the.
I don't think you're using the right term when you said your heart mourns, because mourns would say you're like, that's something bad. This is a good thing for them.
No, I'm talking about all the fans that died.
Oh, the fans that died. Wow, you got really fucking morbid. The fans that died pre-2022, and anytime before 2022, if you died, Taylor does mourn you because you did not get to see more Keaton as Batman.
No, I mourn you because, like, I often think about this with, like, Star Wars fans and stuff too, because just like all these people, like, they pass along thinking this is all we're gonna get for Star Wars, like, and they're all just like, this is all we're gonna get from Michael Keaton's Batman, just these 2 films, it was great. Too bad we didn't get more, and then they pass along at like 1999 or like.
That's gonna be us one day. They're gonna be making another Tom Holland.
I know.
Movie,
that's
one of us
why.
Are gonna die right before.
That's why I wish they would just stop, and they would stop making Star Wars and Marvel, and that way I could die, and like, because I'll be on my deathbed.
I could die. Like, Taylor's like holding on for life, like he won't let it take him. No, I have to see if they ever make Rogue Squadron. I have to wait out. I can't die yet.
Stresses me out.
I just love, like, that's what's holding you off till then. Oh my god, my dream is that heaven has theaters. I've always said, if there's a heaven, my dream is that once you're up there, down here is like a TV show that you could tune in at any point. So, like, we wouldn't miss the movies they make. We just watch them from up above, and like that's my pitch. Is like that. I think that'd be great.
Pitch.
So you could still see them, right? So it's just like, and you're like, oh, because then you get to see, like, clearly I feel like there should be like a settings button. So, like, if you're watching, like, oh, look, there's my brother. Like, I don't need to see the part where he goes and fucks some chick in a room or something like that. So have some settings where it's like, okay, anytime these family members have sex, don't need to see that. Anytime, but it's like, oh, a good moment. Oh, I could see that.
I think you can walk out of the theater. Like, I don't think you have to be like watching it and like turn a dial.
Doors locked. You're watching this. It doesn't play till your eyes on screen.
Oh God, you're so funny. But, like, no, why can't I just have settings on my life watch? But either way, I guess I could. But I just mean, like, it'd be great to see, like, if someone passed away before their kids got married, you could see that ad and things that, you could be there in spirit and stuff. But I had no idea. Oh, so anyways, Atreya was saying, Chris O'Donnell, technically, it is technically, but they're doing the classic Hollywood thing where they're saying in Flash that Michael Keaton's continuity just stopped at Returns. It wasn't Val Kilmer and George Clooney were supposed to be the same character. No, it stopped at Returns. Those movies don't exist anymore. So he never did have a Robin, but he does now. And they keep trying to hide it. They keep trying to put, like, stuff over the Robin now. It's like, dudes, you guys let it slip. Like, you show it, like, it doesn't matter. Just have it out there. But either way,
release the photo like they did with Batgirl now. It's like, to that point, like, it's already, we know he's in there.
Yeah, 100%. Anything else on this topic of Batgirl? I think we're all getting pretty excited for it. It's probably about a year away or so.
Yeah, a year away or so.
A little over a year, probably. Does. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Okay.
Oh, he's clearing his throat. We should take an ad break before we tackle this.
No, we just took an ad break. It can't be that soon. We did. I'm just getting prepared. So DC, it's a fun place. We love DC.
Da-na.
So we love DC, and I don't know where to start here. Justice League happened a few years ago, right? Zack Snyder had to step away. Joss Whedon comes in. Oh yeah, he's a great director. He's gonna
savior.
finish. Yeah, he's gonna finish off Zack's vision, right? So we jump 5 years later. We went through the Snyder Cut. We went through all these things. We went through leaks. We went through stories about Joss Whedon. Yeah. Tons of stuff over the years have come out about Joss Whedon. But Joss Whedon, other than a few times like having a PR person put some sort of statement out, he's been very quiet and he's never publicly talked about it at all. So today, I don't know why, for some reason he paired up with the interviewer and whatnot, and they put out this article, but decided, okay, I'm gonna tell my side of the story and all this. So this comes from, obviously, if you don't follow the situation, I'm sure you do, but this comes from many complaints, right? We've heard Gal Gadot say, she had problems with Joss Whedon. We had former executives of Warner Brothers say they had problems with him. Ben Affleck has pretty much insinuated that. He said the Justice League movie was the worst experience of his career. So, and then you had Ray Fisher, who threw out a bunch of accusations at a lot of people. Now, I believe a lot of the things he has said, majority of the things he has said, because I agree with many people where it goes, there's not much gain for this guy to do this. It doesn't make much sense. And it kind of goes with everything everybody else has been saying from the past to Justice League, right? So, and I know people go like, oh, why did he not have any problem with the Avengers? We'll get there, but it's also like, there's a lot of reasons as far as, could be Disney, could have just gelled with those people, could have just hit he was being an asshole. Whatever the main reason is, Ray Fisher in this cast had a lot of problems with, which Joss Whedon also addresses the cast in general. So we'll get there. But Fisher has thrown a lot of accusations. But the unfortunate thing is it is still a very much he said, they said sort of situation where there's not any physical proof, but it is a lot of people collaborating different stories where you go, okay, this is likely true. Most of it's true. I do believe Ray Fisher, like I said, most of the stuff. I think there's some things that I've not liked the way he's carried himself, like the past week with the James Gunn stuff. That was very, to me, like petty and very, and if people don't know, James Gunn had liked a tweet of Alan Tudyk defending Joss Whedon like 2 years ago, and Ray Fisher took a screenshot and posted, it's like, oh, explain yourself for this. And James Gunn just put, yeah, I'll do that. He's like, yeah, I like this tweet. But then when I thought about it, he's like, oh, I actually had no right weighing in on the experience because I had no idea what the set was like. So that was my bad. And then he just said, well, thank you, James Gunn. And that to me was like, you could have just DM'd this fucking dude. So I think there's times where it's like, James Gunn's not involved in this big fight at all. So there's a few times like this, Ray Fisher has done these things where I go, okay, not really the best way of handling it, but the stuff in the past, I believe. So jumping all to the point where there's three big things here where Joss Whedon puts out this article, talks about his whole career. One thing, I'm not sure if you guys had read it, there's one point where he said like he felt like he needed, this was a big thing with the Buffy and past, is he would kind of sleep with a lot of younger employees and kind of there's lots of talk of power struggles and things like that. And he had some pretty disgusting quotes of he felt like he needed to do it, like he was helpless. And then the interviewer laughed and he's like, I'm not joking. He pretty much just made it sound like he's a fucking weird dude. But so here's the three things where one, like some of the cast, he just said the cast overall was rude. So you go, okay, maybe they had a rude, whatever. They didn't like him. He didn't like them, whatever. So then we get to Ray Fisher. And again, this is all subjective to take from our friend Ray, who hosts Flightcast and his fans before is Brent, and we did a vodka stream with him. It's all subjective, right? He says, because Fisher had said, if you look at the Snyder or the Justice League cut in 2017, lots of the actors of color, Asian, Black, are cut out of the movie. They're lots of people's complete role. Like remember Cyborg's dad, who in Snyder Cut has a huge role in the original Justice League. He's in a couple scenes, so there's a lot of, hey, why are a lot of this group of people being cut? And it was, insinuated that towards racism and stuff like that. And Joss Whedon kind of put this out where, the only reason he cut him because he didn't like the storyline and because Ray Fisher's a bad actor. Now, that could be true and that could be subjective, but that also doesn't answer, okay, then why were you like an emotional, like verbally abusive to your cast and Ray Fisher? You could have these reasons, but like being like, oh, so why did you mistreat Ray Fisher? Well, he was a bad actor. That's not a good look. That doesn't really answer the question. This article is riddled with all this stuff, but to me, this was the tipping point. This was the one where it's like, man, Joss Whedon just decided to, okay, there's a pile of dirt, and he just started to dig. And someone asked, like, what are you doing? Like, oh, I'm digging my own grave. Because they asked about, okay, Gal Gadot. She's been very specific about, like, she had problems with them, went to the producers, all these things. And they go, well, what happened with Gal Gadot? Why were there problems? And he, some sort of quote, I'm not even gonna, I'll paraphrase it, but he pretty much just says, well, English is not her first language, so we had some troubles coalescing with one another, which Gal Gadot and her team responded later as far as, I completely understood what he was saying, and myself nor anybody I would recommend working with him at any point in the future. And to me, to insinuate that Gal Gadot, who, first of all, you shouldn't insinuate that with anybody, but Gal Gadot, who's been in Hollywood for quite a while, has not stricken me as an actress that doesn't couldn't understand someone speaking English to her, of like, oh, she just doesn't get what I'm portraying here. To put that as like the reason you had problems, this is the biggest thing I'll say before I throw it to you guys, is this was supposed to be a start of like a comeback or maybe a forgiveness tour. You don't do it by like gaslighting a bunch of people. You don't do it of all his things were, hey, you were an asshole. Yeah, but this was the easiest layup of, hey, I joined this set. We all had problems. I made some mistakes. I acted in a way I shouldn't have acted, or I just was in a bad, you could have done the classic, I was in a bad place and I apologize. I wish it didn't go down that route. I feel bad and I hope to be better moving forward. That's all you got to say, even if the motherfucker doesn't believe it. But the problem is he doesn't believe it and he has to let us know this. And he just comes out and puts out this article that he didn't get caught. He worked with this person, put out this interview, and it feels like something Zoolander in the movie would put out when he says stupid quotes and he doesn't know he's being stupid. So either Joss Whedon is a very stupid guy who I don't believe, or he's just kind of a prick. And that's where, when you go to some of the stuff with even people that don't believe or question some of the things Ray Fisher, the cast members, have said, when you read this interview, which is all in his own words that he put out there with this company, and then you hear the stories, it's just like, yeah, this just all just kind of tracks. And I just like, I don't understand how he looked at this and was like, you know what? This is going to do it. This is going to bring me back. Like it just is so foolish and it's so ignorant and like so much stuff. But when I saw that quote, that to me was the worst one of like, man, you just don't get it. Like, this is what you're leading with. They're like, oh, well, she didn't understand English. So it's just like, oh my goodness. So they put this out. Obviously, he's got roasted a bunch. And again, I just think this made him look even worse. If he was going to come out flinging shit kind of back at them, he should have done this right away then. Why did he sit on this for 2 years and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait 2 years and then I'm going to respond back and throw barbs at them. No, what you do in this situation is you wait the 2 years and then you come back like groveling, like, hey, I had time to reflect, I've had therapy, even if it's all bullshit for like in a Hollywood way. But the fact that it waited for so long and then this is what happened, I don't know, man. He just should have said anything. He just made himself look even worse.
Well, like, that's just the thing. He's been silent, so I mean, I didn't really care too much about Joss Whedon in the first place. I had heard these things. I'm like, oh, that sucks. That sucks that he feels that way about, you know, certain individuals, and it just sounds like he's kind of an asshole. And like, that was me years ago, and then it was just silent, and that was okay because I just kind of forgot about it. You know, it'd come up every once in a while, but then that would be the case. And then, like you mentioned, like if he was just stewing for years, I would have imagined he like sat down with like. Everything he said in here is so fucking idiotic and like just so dumb that I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, hey, he must be like sitting down with like a writer or someone that can actually like articulate like at least a script to just say, you know, like it doesn't even matter if he thinks that way. Just like being as a professional, I would imagine he sits down with someone that can actually like articulate proper words to just make it not say that you're the victim, but just like, you know, just, okay, yeah, no, I was in the wrong there. And you don't have to say like, I don't know, Ray Fisher is a great actor or anything like that. It's just you come in a neutral standpoint. But no, here he is years later and he's still just like on that same. It seems like he's on the same, like, I don't know, the same corner that he was. Nothing's changed. And just some of those words he was saying, I'm like, man, this guy is a fucking moron. Like, he seems so ignorant, so unintelligent, and it's weird when you have like an actor like. This is the guy that did Avengers, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Avengers 1 and 2, yeah.
Avengers 1 and 2. And
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, like
Firefly.
Like some very big properties there, and it is hard to believe that someone that could just have these types of stories behind scenes could be, you know, the person that actually had those projects, especially like Buffy. Like, I feel like that was a very like female centric like show.
Yeah, there's a lot of
pretty
problems
progressive
with that show. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've told me a bit about that before.
Yeah,
just
they're
some
in
of
that
the-
interview too. There was like this whole
Yeah.
thing of like an actress got pregnant, and that kind of led to some
That's
fight.
right.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yes,
stuff.
of
There's
course
one
it was
story in
just.
particular, yeah, that I think he responded to of like, yeah, just like, oh, I was in an awkward position because the power dynamics, but it's like it doesn't explain you like grab
Very
this
strange.
woman's arm and like like hurting her and stuff. I don't know.
So weird, and like just the fact that like you mentioned it already, but like he's just digging his own grave with this. Like he's basically just nailing in his own coffin, which I didn't think that was possible, but fuck it is. And it's comedic being just like, I cannot believe he actually did this. Like I cannot believe, like you brought up Zoolander. Like exactly.
Why would
it's
you
like
lead
that.
with being like, oh shit, I'm gone?
You were here for a second, but now you are. Like, yeah, why would you lead on that? And like that's what I was saying before. Like you would have imagined. I don't think I'll ever be in that situation because I think I'm a, a progressive person and I don't have issues with people like that. But if ever I was in that situation, I feel like I'd be intelligent enough to just sit down and be like, hey, let's write a script that I can at least read through so I come off not being a total bad guy. Gosh, he did not do that.
I think the best way to describe it so someone doesn't think any of us are like abusive pricks or anything like that.
No.
This is no. I think Travis is a bad podcaster, but you know,
it's his first language. English is his first language.
yeah. Give him some slack. Like even then, why did he look this? But like, yeah, me saying Ray Fisher's a bad actor. Like this is the way to go. Like that just makes it feel so personal. But like, this is the best way I can describe it in a normal world. It's all of us have fights or arguments with our significant others, and sometimes you may not fully agree with the conclusion of where the argument is, the situation is, but sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet. You go, okay,
yeah,
we're gonna go in like you think this way, I think this way. You might apologize. You might just kind of. It's all of us have been in a situation where we have apologized.
Compromising.
Yeah,
like,
it's
you know, like meeting halfway. Yeah.
Yes, and the fact that he didn't do that. I gotta love that. Taylor's getting water when we were about to throw it to him and everything like that. But we'll talk about Maddie's question because he threw a question. And he wastes more time there. Maddie asked, and that's what you can do. Join our Patreon at any tier. You can send in questions for our newscast. Joss Whedon hasn't directed a film since Avengers in 2015. Is it safe to say we won't be seeing him direct any big feature films going forward? Thoughts on the lasting impact these countries might have on his career? So big feature films, no. I think like if he has enough money and can find some sort of guy or prick to finance him, you can always come back. Like right now, Kevin Spacey's about to be in a movie. It's like a foreign movie and it's somewhere else. The same way Roman Polanski, who's a pedophile, like jumped the country just so he go make movies somewhere else. He can make a movie, but a big feature one, no. I think those days are done. I think that's like he's scorched earth type of now where it's not worth it. You'd have to, again, even if he would have had to come out and just knock this out of the fucking park and go on a real big forgiveness and whatever to like. And this wasn't it. That was not what this was. And his lasting impact, it's tough because he did some bad things to some bad people, but it's not to the extent of a full on like sexual assault or a murder or something like that. So it's one of these things that as years go on, when our kids or my kids, these two don't have kids, I know, but when my kids in 30 years look up Joss Whedon, they're going to have a whole big spiel about his career. And then there's going to be probably a small section. It's going to be a paragraph, but a small section like, oh, he had a lot of controversies. He did this. But he has had a big career and he directed one of the biggest movies of all time. He directed the movie that really gave the MCU for a while what their style was. So I think it's these things where Tim Rooney shared a great tweet on Twitter today.
Hold that thought. You're going to freeze.
Oh, he's frozen.
So I told him to hold his thought. It's perfect timing. How's the water? What's the pH level on that?
Probably somewhere between a 91.
Oh my gosh, that's way too high. Should be
That's
a 7.
too high? Oh shit.
Should be
What's
a 7.
too high?
pH level of his water. He said somewhere around 91. Should be 7. That's like the most neutral.
I just drink water. But what I was going to say is Tim Rooney shared a great tweet today. Go check out at Tim Rooney, where it's Monsters Inc. and it's selling Mike Wazowski and the Monsters Inc. logo's over his face. And it's like Kevin Feige and that director celebrating the 10 years of Avengers because that happens in May. So I think it's one of those things where it's not a complete. And for Marvel and Avengers, none of this stuff really happened under their umbrella, right? They could get questioned like, hey, why'd you work with this asshole? But that was 2015. That was in a few years, that'll be a decade, right? So he hasn't been associated with Marvel in a long time. So I think it does hurt him. I think overall, though, if he just kind of goes away, it will help. But he won't never get the credit of. It's going to be the tale, almost like this article was trying to do. It's the tale of two careers where he started off as Buffy the Vampire Slayer Firefly, Avengers, huge fanboy community stuff, like really changed the game. And then this other side where all this shit caught up to him, which it should when you're doing all this bad
Yeah.
stuff. So
And like the biggest thing that sticks with me is that like it doesn't seem like he thinks he's in the wrong at all. It's just
No,
like, well,
not
now
at
I'm going to
all.
voice my thoughts, and half of the community is going to join my side, and we're going to
Yeah.
have this civil war. No. Like 92%, probably even 98% is against him. You know, like there's
Yeah.
definitely a small minority group there, but yeah, like I don't know. I just in my mind, another controversial person. Might be weird bringing it up, but just like James Franco did an interview finally like a little while ago, and he actually like was honest and like, no, I was definitely in the wrong there, and like it's just so polar opposite of what Joss Whedon's doing
even
here.
even if he's not being honest, he's saying he's taking that route of
Exactly,
I am wrong.
exactly.
Yes,
You think what you want about him, but like he
Yeah.
at least said those words of like, you know, I think that's the first steps to like trying to get into like a repair of like his social status, and Joss Whedon is just like, no, and, like bringing down other people like Gal
Why is
Gadot,
he
like
Palpatine? No,
because he's evil. Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
I didn't mean on it, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad I did.
Yeah,
Taylor
well,
Field.
my last point is, yeah, it is interesting because we see a lot of these actors now or people in public trying to make a comeback, and I think it's just kind of trial by fire, and I think it does honestly go to like, what did you do? For me, like it's, and even then, I wouldn't be watching the Joss Whedon stuff now. It's stuff like Kevin Spacey. I'm never gonna watch his work when like a bunch of many young men said that he took advantage of them in Hollywood at a young age because he was a popular guy and be like, hey, I'm Kevin Spacey, you want to hang out? And then bad stuff would happen. I don't. That stuff that it doesn't ruin the Kevin Spacey before movies in the past, but still is enough where I go, it's a big bummer, and he can apologize and say this sort of stuff. It was the same thing of back in that when that happened. He got all these accusations, and what was Kevin Spacey's statement that day? He's like, "Well, I wanted to announce that yes, I am a gay man." It's like that's not the point. Like we're not. No one has a problem with you that you're
All right,
gay.
you got me. You got me.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's the same type of thing where this is what Joss Whedon's doing. Like, yeah, well, Ray Fisher's a bad actor, so of course I was shitty too and had to cut him. Like, oh, Gal Gadot, like she just didn't understand me, you know. Like, oh, the cast was just rude to me. It's just like, and even then,
like so victim.
yeah.
Gosh.
Oh, that's the whole article. So, Taylor Field, what are your thoughts on the situation? What are your thoughts on? Do you think of Maddie's, while you're gone, Maddie's question is, do you think you see him as much of having a career going forward and what's this kind of like lasting legacy?
Well, career going forward, I don't think, I mean, he's going to be working with anyone. I think it's just going to be going down. He's self-sabotaging. I mean, what actor is going to want to like join with him? Like
James Franco,
Kevin Spacey, like
They'll-
I
they'll-
mean,
they'll-
God.
I'm waiting for that
No.
day where there is a movie of a bunch of fucking just like canceled like wrongdoers are just like, well, we'll make our own movie, you know? Like I'm waiting.
Gina
it's-
Carano.
Gina Carano for sure is gonna be.
she wouldn't fit into the category of like if you're looking at cancellations, like James Franco, Kevin Spacey, their cancellations are for much more.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Gina bro, Taylor Field.
No,
I'm
I see what Taylor's talking about. It's more just
Yeah.
like tweets and stuff like that. But it's still, Gina
Gina would be in the James Gunn canceled camp, but James Gunn came back from that.
It was James
Bundy.
Buns, yeah. Yeah, the thing with James Gunn was the day he was caught, you know what he did the next day? He tweeted a big apology, says I've
Yeah.
grown, and then he was quiet for like a full year on Twitter before he got back on there. And look, he directed Suicide Squad and he's doing Guardians. What you could think James Gunn could literally take you aside and be like, you know what, that was all bullshit. I stand by those tweets. I fucking like he could say that to you at a
You
party.
want to hear something fucked up? Yeah, I didn't mean
Yeah.
any of that apology.
Yeah, look at you think those tweets are bad. Look at the ones I got on my drafts right now.
No one will
Like-
believe you.
Yeah, but that's what happened. He'd say, like, I'm telling you this, but in the public eye, I've apologized and stuff like that. And that's where, you know, but Gina didn't do that, right? She just kept tripling. She wanted to get fired at that point. I'm pretty sure she was very much trying to. So,
It's just kind of nuts with Army Hammer.
I don't know if Army
more...
Hammer's coming back. Yeah, that's a tough
No,
one.
that's tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard because I can't see a company wanting to sign him up for a movie or anything like that just because of everything he's doing. Like he's just not only is he just being very disrespectful and kind of just crazy, but yeah, you have these allegations and these horrible things he did when he was, you know, younger, like with the Buffy times. And he's just self-sabotaging and playing victim. You're not going to want to work with a guy that's just like you're trying to relay your message, like, oh, well, you obviously don't speak English, so you don't understand me, and blatantly like says that to you, like, fuck, like what an asshole. I don't know. It's just.
What do you think his legacy is, though? 20 years from now, when they look back at Joss Whedon, director of Avengers and Buffy, but now has had all these problems. Like, what do you think is kind of looked in the rear
I don't
view
think
mirror?
he's gonna have that kind of title even then. Like, oh yeah, the director of Justice League and Avengers 1 and 2 on to New Horizons. Like, no one's gonna address him like that. So, I think he's just gonna be known as just Joss Whedon, and like he's left in the dust because now we have. When you look at what we've got in his resume, we've got, yes, the original and the second Avengers movie, but when we think of Avengers, everyone's going to be thinking back again towards like Infinity War and Endgame in this sense.
100%. Yeah.
And the same thing with Justice League. Everyone's going to just think of Zack Snyder's Justice League now. So his era of what he created, yeah, it definitely has some notable moments more so for Avengers. It's just been overwritten by... newer stuff and redone stuff, so he's just gonna kind of like fizz away, and now all he's gonna be known is just crashing and burning and self-sabotage and playing victim. I'd have no sympathy for people playing victim, so
and I hate, well, not that I hate, but like, and that's, you bring up a good point, where if Avengers 1 2012 was the biggest the MCU ever got, that would be a big thing, because like, well, this is the guy that directed the biggest movie of all time. But since then, you've had movies like Captain Marvel and Civil War hit $1 billion. You had Spider-Man, which is like this phenomenon, right? And like you said, Infinity War, Endgame, Black Panther, the first one's the biggest Marvel movie in the domestic. It passed it. So it's like at that point it was the crown jewel, but now it's just like one. It's like in the TVA and Loki. It's just one of the many stones in the desk. You know, it's not the crown anymore. You're not the gods or anything. And I feel, Espop says, I feel like this will be a J.K. Rowling type scenario, and it is, where J.K. just, it feels like every few months it starts to quiet down, and then she just comes out and says something. And again, and I always say, like, you can have your opinions, but there's just sometimes where when you feel like you're punching down, that's where it's like, okay, why are you, multi-million-dollar person, doing this? And if a person that punches down, who is just like makes a regular amount of wage, is an asshole, what is it to the person that is like, you know, in that 1 percentile? And it's I don't think you will see much of him. I don't know what the purpose of this interview was, other than I guess you just kind of reaffirmed what people thought. Like I said, if he would have came out and had like a better case, there could have been, you would have people like, oh, well, he said this, because it is like he said, she said. There's no video footage of this. There's none of this. You could easily, someone could make some sort of shit like, oh yeah, the Justice League cast were rude and they just hid Joss. So they got together and made up these lies. But like when this guy's saying this type of stuff, you just go, well, really hard to believe you. You know, it's just like, that's why at the end of the day, I hate to go down this road, but it's the same thing for me, where with Michael Jackson, I love Michael Jackson. I think he's one of the greatest performers of all time. But he always has a massive asterisk by his name. And people I know bring all this stuff. He's innocent, stuff like that. But when you do an interview and the guy says, oh, so you've been accused of having children sleep in your bed and everything like that, is that true? And Michael Jackson goes, yes. And then the interview goes, okay, just to be clear, you have underage children sleeping in your bed overnight. And he goes, yes. And you go, well, I can't fucking defend this guy no matter how good his lawyer is, because it's some weird ass shit going on with this guy. And where Michael Jackson's weird, I think Joss Whedon is an asshole. And I think this will probably be the last time, unless I'm just waiting for him to go on Twitter and just like self-destruct and just go on like a fucking like raid of tweets and everything like that, and we'll have a good laugh and chuckle. But what are you laughing at? Yeah, what are you laughing at? Taylor had this like smirk on his face.
I was just like not fantasizing, I'm just thinking in my head, like he just goes on Twitter like, fuck you, James Gunn, fuck you, Russo brothers, like, yeah, just everyone. Fuck you, Zack Snyder.
You'll have photos of them with like the red eyes too.
Yeah, there'd be a fuck you Matt Reeves in there too. I can't forget that. So just everyone.
Why Matt Reeves? What did he do?
For good measure.
And Ray, you're still a bad actor, motherfucker. We'll see. Ray Fisher says he's going to be responding tomorrow, so we probably won't be covering that.
Is he really?
Well, he wouldn't do it today because. So here's the thing. I don't believe Joss Whedon meant this, but this came out on Martin Luther King Day. And it's just like, man, whoever did this, it was like, because I think this interview was done a few months ago, but whoever released this whatnot, timing's everything. And this was not it, fam. This is not the way to go. But Yeah, so no, he said he didn't want to respond today because of the holiday, but tomorrow he will be. So we'll see what happens.
Maybe that's why he intentionally put it out today, trying to get the awareness.
Oh, 100%. It's going to be a show. It's going to be something. So I don't know.
Gotta be
But
something.
yeah, let's take our last ad break, and then we're going to be talking about some last TV shows
we
coming
got
up.
Santa. We
A
got
trio.
Santa.
You're going to find out who cares about Santa Claus show. So we'll be right back. And we are back. So Taylor Field, I am going to write something down, and then I'm going to let you start this topic because I want to use the facilities. But so the other shows that we're going to talk about today, those ones are true, factual. Like there's like been press releases stuff like this, but this one is a rumor. So just to clarify, Disney's not come out this, no actress or anything in this. But as of right now, there is a Bo-Katan show rumored as a spinoff. We don't know if it'd be a multiple season thing or just a single season. Taylor, do you think this is a good idea? And do you think it's going to actually happen?
I think it is a great idea. I definitely think it. I think it will happen. I don't think you just go willy-nilly and bring in an actress like Katie Sackhoff into the fray. I know, again, she voices Bo-Katan in the Clone Wars and Rebels, but I think it goes beyond that. I think, okay, if you're bringing her in to actually represent her live-action self, I think you got plans for her. You're not only just doing an amazing fan service, but you're going to be going all out and bringing her in as Bo-Katan in some upcoming project. Again, we know she'll probably be in season 3 of Mandalorian, but I think it's going to go beyond that, and we're going to see her in her own series because there's so much to fill the void with. Like, we're getting that with Boba Fett. Excuse me. Tamora Morrison is going through the ropes of just doing what he's doing in this backstory, and I want to see that with Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan because there's so much about Mandalore falling and that history, that lineage that I just want to get into and just what she's been up to. Even if, she's with Sasha Banks, Costco Reeves, and the other dude, which I can't remember his name, but just see what they're up to and see what kind of, like, army they're building up. I want to see an army of, like, 10,000 Mandalorians just go and, like, take Mandalore and just rally together and just go to town. I don't know what they were fighting, but just fighting something. So
just cause, why not? Yeah, nobody
Just
ever
'cause.
remembers the gentleman in that posse, unfortunately. Sasha Banks and Bo-Katan.
I'll look up his name while you go at it.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't watched Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like that. So my first version of Bo-Katan was actually in Mandalorian, and I think it introduced a lot of interesting things. I mean, their armor was awesome for one thing, but also, like you mentioned, just like actually like having the Mandalore stuff. I think that's really, really cool, and it allows us to dive into that stuff in live action, and I think it's always a plus. I think just with where Book of Boba is going right now, I know that there is going to be some Star Wars content that I'm not in love with, but that's completely fine with. Like, it's still over the 50% mark, so it doesn't really matter what the quality of the, I guess it does matter what the quality of the show is, but
Just put out shit. Just put it out.
but like with the Bo-Katan stuff, I think it introduced enough interesting things to get me through the door. I mean, just talking about it on the podcast will be enough to get me through the door, but also the other things with the Mandalorians and the Mandalorians and Mandalore, it's very intriguing, and I do hope it happens. I think it would be really, really awesome for the actress too, because she started doing the voice, right? Now she's portraying that same character live action, and then if she gets her own show with it, that would just be a really, really cool story. And yeah, I'm positive on it. I hope it happens.
Yeah, for me, I don't like the rumors when like, oh, it might be the book of Bo-Katan because I don't.
Oh yeah, no, get away from that.
Yeah, I don't need any books. The chapters are fine, but yeah, I think there's an interesting story to tell there. I don't even think it has to be present day or whatever the current timeline is. Like, I think whether it's her and the Darksaber, her and Moff Gideon, I feel like you could tell that story of how he got it from her. I think there's lots of lore. She's a different side of Mandalorians than I'd say Din and like Boba. So I think there's some fun stuff you could play up. It's not a show that I really like her, but I think at the same point, I don't need every character I like to have a spinoff show at the same time. So I like her, but I'm not like, oh man, I'm doing jumping jacks and backflips over, man, we're getting a Bo-Katan show. I can't wait. I know there's some potential, but I also feel like I have seen a lot of the story in Clone Wars. So that's why I'm not like also thirsting. Like, I need to see Bo-Katan, but I like Katie Sackhoff a lot, so I would be down if they were to make this. They were to do this. Okay, sure, sign me up. Check out some episodes and see where it goes. So hopefully get more Sasha Banks in there. You know, we definitely need that. If she's on there, that's a big bust. But yeah, I'm intrigued about it. Give me a trailer, and then I'd tell you about it. So,
Oh, are you intrigued now?
there's Sasha
Look at
Banks
that.
right there. Look at that.
Sasha
Oscar
Banks.
Reeves. Yeah,
Black
I
Series.
can't see her. You didn't take her helmet off though, so you can't see her face.
Yeah, you like the Black Series faces? Black Series
No,
characters?
that's
faces?
true. Actually, yeah, keep that helmet on. Fuck, I saw Moff Gideon. So, anyways, this one I just threw in here because I wasn't sure. I feel like I threw this in for Taylor because I feel like he has to be a massive fan. They're making a Real Steel series. Obviously, I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. This is based off the Hugh
Oh, the
Jackman
boxing,
movie.
right?
Yeah, boxing robot,
yeah,
just
yeah.
based
I
off
have seen
Rock'em
that.
Sock'em. I don't know if it's going to be the same continuity or Hugh Jackman coming back or something, but I think the same guy that directed Sean Levy is producing the series or something executive produced, so that's why people think, oh, it might have something to do with it. They got it in the Fox buyout. Taylor, I feel like this show has like you all over it for a fan level.
I mean, I really do like the movie. Like, it's not something I can put on every, second week and just watch all the time. But
Every second week, wow.
yeah, not every second week. I couldn't do that. But I do think it's a good heartwarming story. Just with Hugh Jackman's character, just kind of like coming to terms with, okay, this is my son, and just kind of get into it and bonding over just this fighting. And I absolutely love Adam, and I love the subtle cues in the film of just Adam maybe being a little bit self-aware at times. I like that a lot, as opposed to
I can't
just all these
believe you remember
robots
his
being-
name.
Oh yeah, Adam.
That's
Super
crazy.
iconic. You just have these robots that are all just like fighting machines, and I can't remember the name of the main bad guy robot. I want to say it's like
Roller Dick.
I think it was like Perseus or Hercules or something like that. It was something
Taylor's closer.
crazy, but
I saw a different movie then.
but yeah, it's just the action sequences are so cool. I'm a big sucker for that kind of stuff. Like, I was just the other day watching like the action scenes from all the Transformers films just through all of YouTube, and it was just great. So yeah.
Kirklin, any thoughts on a Real Steel series?
No.
Oh, you got something. Give me something.
Wow.
I mean, I remember.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots. You like the
mentioned
game?
Real Steel.
Nope.
It's good enough, I guess, for a movie.
I liked the movie. I don't think I would be checking out the show until like maybe it was bingeable, but I don't think I don't feel the need for Real Steel. But I was surprised that I think it was like a sleeper hit. I was surprised it took this long for something else to happen with it, though. So they got that going for it. But if they were to somehow announce Hugh Jackman was in this, then it changes the game. Then we're in a different ballpark. So
Midas. That was the main bad one.
he has the Midas touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, something that Taylor and I are really hyped on. So, Trejo, you know what? If you're still listening, there's people that are wanting this show. Every Christmas, I feel like we talk about this. And I remember it was pretty popular Facebook post we did once on our Facebook, like who should be the next Santa Claus, and everyone's like, oh, you gotta bring back Tim Allen and stuff like that. But it was like, oh, what if they reboot it? But now they've announced that we are getting a Santa Claus series. It's a continuation. Tim Allen's coming back, and it's about him trying to find the replacement for him. So he's like in his 65 and he realizes that he can't be Santa forever. Him and his family are gonna retire and have some sort of gig in the North Pole, but before he does that, he wants to find a suitable replacement. This to me is awesome. I love the Santa Claus movies. They definitely go down with each one. They get like worse and worse, or they downgrade in quality. But I love them. They're a great Christmas watch them all the time. I love Tim Allen probably because he reminds me of my dad quite a bit. And I just think this is one of these things where Disney's very smart of taking IP and like Monsters at Work or Doug Days, like taking IP and finding a way to add to it. I imagine on Disney Plus, those like Santa Claus movies must be just doing killer numbers every season. So they probably go, you know what? There's an audience here, and if Tim Allen is willing to do it and wants to do it, capable of doing it, why not? So honestly, this is one of my most excited Disney Plus things ever. I can't wait to see what they do, and I'm hyped. I hope they bring back a lot of the original cast, and I'm very excited for who they get for the replacement. They legitimately got to get someone good. I don't want just to be like, oh. And I'm not saying we need like a Santa Claus 5 after this or more Santa Claus, but I want.
What do you want, Taylor?
I think he wants Joss Whedon to direct.
Oh no. I'll get him in there.
Jesus, yeah, no. I want it to be some actor that when we see, oh, he would be a Tim Allen, that's going to be lots of fun. So I really hope they knock that choice out of the park. So Taylor, I know you're just as excited as I am.
Yeah, like it's literally the highlight of my day when Travis will drop like, "Hey, you want me to make your day, Taylor?" Like, oh, he's got something good, and then I get an image of something. I'm either hoping it's Ghost Rider or
Just a
or
dick.
Star Wars.
Just Travis's
One
cock.
time, it's gonna be that big Toby dick I used to send all the time. Remember?
All right.
All right.
But yeah, this just is. Fuck. This just it was great news, and I'm super jazzed on this. I think it's going to be a freaking wild ride, and it's awesome. Believe it or not, my favorite of the trilogy is definitely number 2, Santa Claus 2. I just love the storyline in that, and we get the introduction to the what are they called? The Council of Mystical Beings or whatever. Imagine their replacement is like Pete Davis or something.
Yeah, I like Pete Davidson more than other people. I don't want him to be the replacement Santa. So,
I'm super jazzed in this movie. I think it's gonna be great. I think the story's cool.
It's gonna be a series.
Series, Disney Plus series. I do think it's interesting. Okay, that he's not immortal. You don't get saintlyhood, and this is the first kind of Santa story where a Santa Claus is not really like all eternal saint. Like you got to pass the mantle on, which is very cool. Very cool.
Kirkland Patzer, is this the same as Real Steel? You got nothing to add here? Or?
I'm excited to see it for the first time.
Do you hate
Oh,
Christmas?
right. I forgot.
Do I hate Christmas?
Do you hate Christmas?
I love Christmas. It's a great holiday.
Do you think Christmas is a bad holiday?
I feel like I was limited in my Christmas viewing. Like every year would be like Elf and like the Grinch, and then
Just those
the two versions of the Grinch.
Parents
and then
never
some
told
like
you there is anything
some
else.
really weird like Canadian TV movie thing. Like what was it? MVP, like the primate. Do you remember those
Christmas
ones?
one?
No, but they usually were around Christmas time.
Okay. No, they
Yeah, I
were
don't
Christmas, but they were around Christmas time. But
Yeah, that's like Elf was like the hardcore, and the Grinch. I think those are really the ones in my mind. But
makes sense. Elf's pretty overrated, so people go with that, you know.
it's one of the
You
best.
think
Christmas
Elf
movies
is
ever made.
overrated?
No, I just want to get a rise out of
Yeah,
Kirkland. I think it's
fucking
rated
this guy.
fine. I think it's
Gonna
rated
jump
fine.
through this monitor.
What are you gonna do, huh? Well, anything else on these shows? Anything else news-wise? I think I'm talking to myself because I'm gone.
No, you're there. You're there.
No, you're
but
here.
I don't
Yeah.
think
Now
there's
you're
anything
gone.
else news-wise. I mean, unless you got anything else, Kirkland.
I got nothing else news wise.
I got nothing.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I thought he was frozen.
yeah, I was screwing with us.
I've seen how long I can get
Creep me
you, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was a good newscast. We'll be back in a couple days with a newscast. We'll likely be doing the MCU Golden Geeks. That's gonna be a lot of fun discussion. We got Boba Fett, Peacemaker, lots of good things. So you want to subscribe. So thank you to everyone in the live chat. It was lots of fun. You guys have anything to say before we jet out of here?
Yeah, I dropped this in the comments. Kirkland, can I get a oh yeah? Can you give me one of those?
Now I'm nervous. Why?
Oh,
Oh
you don't get it.
yeah.
There you go. There you go.
What's that
give
for?
me one, Travis. Give me one.
What
is this?
What are you doing? Why are
like,
you
do
using
it.
for your spank bank? Oh yeah.
There you go.
What? Why are we doing?
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
Just recorded
no.
us. That was very strange.
Oh, wow. Everyone have
I
a
feel
good night.
violated a little bit.